Question. This person that died, if you were to see him here, can you describe him? Wunmi. My late husband was a cool-headed person. He doesn't hold grudges and says things the way it is. He doesn't mingle with a lot of people. He loves his space, his family. He loves me, his child, and everybody around him. Question. Let's go to when. Wunmi. He died on the 12th of September 2023. Question. Which day was that? Wunmi. On Tuesday. Question. I want to ask you some questions and they are divided into, okay, this is a repetition. Question. Can you put a time frame to when he died? Wunmi. I think it was around 3 p.m. on Tuesday afternoon. Question. On that day that he died, where did he die? Wunmi. He died in the house. That day, I wasn't really sure, but when he was injected. Question. Injected by who? Wunmi. By the nurse. On the 12th September, my husband and I were having a discussion about the injury at the show, and we were in the room. Question. We are coming to that. We are at when he died now. Wunmi. When the nurse got comfortable, he asked his brother to get him water, which he did, but he was still feeling somehow. Question. Can you put a name to that brother? Wunmi. Alobadura. He asked his brother to get him water, and I was at the scene with the nurse and the DJ. Question. What is the name of that DJ? Wunmi. Bami. Question. Bami who? We call him Bami. Well, will it be Ajishebiri? Wunmi. Yes. Thank you. Question. You were at the scene with the nurse. Do you know the name of the nurse? Wunmi. Fumi Ogedengbe or something. I don't know her name. That was the first time I was meeting her. When the whole thing happened, he said we should pour him water, which his brother did. And he said we should put him inside AC. So we rushed him from his room to my son's room because the AC was not working and he was still feeling uncomfortable. So I had to find another alternative because nurse was not back yet. Question. The nurse left? Wunmi. Yes. She left with DJ Bami to get something. I went downstairs to scream for help, and I believed we needed to take him away from that scene. The mechanic was working on his car, and he said, question. Was the car in the compound? Wunmi. It was. And he said we can't take the car, that he was working on it. His brother came outside with me and I told him to search around to look for a car, and our estate is very quiet. One of the people outside asked me to go to the next neighbor's house to scream for help, which I did, and I knocked for like 5 minutes, and they came outside and I explained the situation to him and he chose to help us. I had to call some guys to help me upstairs to carry my husband, and when we got there, they helped us carry him to the hospital. I was inside when he was reacting, but I didn't really know what happened. Question. Can you describe that reaction? Wunmi. Immediately the nurse passed the injection through his vein. I was not fully at the scene. I was at the kitchen cooking, and it was the day my son clocked 5 months, and we had an agreement of cooking fried rice and turkey. I was in the kitchen. I was not fully present at the scene, and I was going and coming. But the last thing I saw was when the nurse was injecting the stuff through his vein, and immediately I opened the door. I heard him say, "Please, remove it. I am not feeling comfortable." Immediately he went to the restroom, which I followed. He vomited and peed. and he said he was not still feeling comfortable. He said the injection was reacting on his body and we should please get him some water. I called Bami and Adira because they were downstairs. Adira was assisting me with dicing the ingredients of the fried rice, and I called them to assist us, and on our way to the hospital, I was not stable, so I really didn't know what was happening. I was in the car. I was at the front with the nurse. I didn't let her go. I held the nurse with me, with our baby. Question. Apart from you, the nurse, and the person that assisted you with the vehicle, who else? Wunmi, his brother Adura, his photographer was also there. Question. What of Ajishebiri? Wunmi, Ajishebiri went with the nurse to get something. Question. As at the time you were leaving for the hospital, Ajishebiri wasn't there. Wunmi, we met Ajishebiri. That was when Ajishebiri and the nurse arrived. So we had to squeeze ourselves into the car. I was in the car with the nurse in the front seat with my baby. And while we were going, there was traffic on Orchard Road. I heard the driver saying his hand was getting cold. So I had to calm down. Question. The driver said that, Wunmi, there was traffic. Question. Where was he in that car? Where was he sitting? Wunmi, my husband, he was at the back. Question. How did the driver know? Wunmi, everybody was in shock. We were shaking. So he just held his hand because he wasn't responding. He wasn't moving his body. So the driver held his hand and said it was getting cold. And immediately I heard the word. I came down from the car and I had to stop a bike. And I told them to help me. So we put him on Okada and myself and we got to the hospital. Question. Just yourself on the car, on the bike? Wunmi, myself and OG. No, I did not enter the bike with them. He and OG, while myself and someone, I cannot recollect. So we went to the hospital, and when we got there, they rushed him inside. Question. I'm sorry to cut you. When he was placed on the bike, you weren't there, Wunmi? I wasn't there. There was no space. Question. So the bike took off and left you. Wunmi, I followed the bike immediately. There was another bike at the back. So we got to the hospital at the same time. Question. What is the name of the hospital? Wunmi, Kuramed Hospital at Orchard. Question. What is the distance between the hospital to the house? Wunmi, it shouldn't be more than 10 minutes, but we spent like 20 minutes because of the traffic. When we got to the hospital, they rushed him inside, and because of the way I was screaming, they asked me not to go inside with him, and I was in shock. I didn't know what was happening at that point in time. The doctor in charge just broke the news to his brother and the DJ that he was dead, and it was their noise I heard. Question. You went with them when they took him in? Question, Wunmi. I was at the hospital, not inside the room. Question. Inside the room, where the doctor was checking up, who else was there? Wunmi, his brother and the DJ. Question. Around what time was this? Wunmi, I really don't know. Question. How many minutes from the arrival at the hospital did they come out to say he was dead? Wunmi, I think 15 minutes after we got to the hospital. Question. What else happened? Wunmi, when they told me, I didn't believe it. I said my husband cannot be dead because we still spoke like 20 minutes before the whole thing, because we were supposed to take our baby to get something for his 5th month birthday. And he said after the injection, we were going there. I didn't believe it. When they told me, and I put a call through to his sister that say nonsense here. Question, you called who? Wunmi, I called his sister. Question, what is the name of the sister? Wunmi, Aloba blessing. I could not tell anybody. I had to sit. So Bagdami called his cousin Darusha that something has happened, that he should come, And I called Darusha too, that I wanted to take my husband from this hospital to another hospital for confirmation because I could not believe what they said. Question: about how many minutes from when you were informed of his death did Darusha arrive? Wunmi, I think 20 minutes after. Question: this Darusha, where does he stay? Wunmi, on the island. At Aja? Question: when Darusha got there, excuse me. Sorry, excuse me. Question: when Darusha got there, just like I said, and we took him from that hospital. Question: do you know the real name of that Darusha? Wunmi, Bolu Adeyemo. Question: what is the name of this hospital? Wunmi, I don't remember that period, but I went to that hospital with them, and when we got there, they said the same thing, that he was dead. And I got to understand that things were getting real already, and he was dead. And at that point, that period in time, from the hospital to the house, I don't know. And it was after they were telling me everything that happened, and I didn't remember until I got to the house. Question: you informed my lord that when you left the house, you left with your baby. And as at this point, where was your baby? Wunmi, my baby was with me. Question: all true? Wunmi, yes. Question: let's go to how he died. You made mention that there was a nurse that came to the house to give him an injection. What necessitated the nurse coming to give him that injection? Wunmi. I'm sorry, this is getting a bit emotional for me too. Okay. On the top, sorry. Sorry about this. Wunmi, on the 10th of September, I had a show with General Bitters before having my baby. We're always going to shows together, but ever since we had my baby, we're not always going to shows. But I had a plan of going to his mother's house on Monday, 11th September, because we want to get her stuff. She just opened a new shop. We want to get her things to stock up the shop. I wanted to go to the market with her. That was the reason for me going to Ikorodu. So when we got to the show around 7 p.m., we were all inside the Prado. Everybody, we went with 2 Prado, and we were about 10 people that went for the show. Question: you said you went with 2 Prado, and you were like 10. Can you please give us the names of the people in the 2 Prado? Wunmi, in the Prado I entered, my husband, Darusha, Bolu, myself, my son, Prime Boy Ibrahim, and Spending. Question: are you sure Spending was in the first or second? Wunmi, the same Prado I and my husband was. Then the second one, Adura, Bami, Idris, the photographer, and West. Question: the full name of West? Wunmi, I don't know, and 2 other guys, I think. When we got to the show, we got there around 7 p.m. and he performed like 9 p.m. And before he performed, he was with us in the car. Question: where was Prime Boy? Wunmi, Prime Boy was outside. He was not fully present with us. He was always going down and coming. My husband performed around 9 p.m. Question: till when? Wunmi, till 9 something. He was the first artist to perform. After his performance, he came back to the Prado, I and my baby were there and the Prado man. He came back and said he was tired and needed to start going, but there were so many cars parked and he called the bouncer himself and told the bouncer he wanted to start going. But he said we should wait till the other artists finish performing so we all can go together. I think Zlatan and Shonguti were yet to perform. Also, the car owners were at the event, so we waited and he was not comfortable and he said he was tired and wanted to rest. So he waited for an hour and he insisted that he wanted to start going. Question: can we say he was restless? He was uncomfortable. He was uncomfortable at the surroundings because people were much and his fans were outside hailing him and requesting for money, and he wasn't comfortable with all those things. Question: you said he said he was tired. Wunmi, he was tired from the constant checkup from his fans. Question: not that he exerted so much energy. Wunmi, he was tired from the whole noise of his fans outside and people were gathering around the car. And I told him to stay back because of our safety. And most times to go to Ikorodu, his fans don't leave him easily until they get something from him. Question: that was not the first show he performed from Ikorodu. Wunmi: yes, but ever since he got signed into Naira Marley's label, he had not been going to Ikorodu like that. He insisted on coming down to talk to the bouncer himself, which I knew will not nice because people were much and they should not mob him. I said if he wanted to get down, I'll come down with my baby and go to his mom's place. And he told me to stay back. And he told Ibrahim to call his younger brother Drab to inform the bouncer that he needs to go now because he was tired of people harassing him. And he gave them like 100,000 naira. And they still kept on coming to him. I don't know what transpired between them. Question: between who? And Wunmi, Ibrahim and his younger brother, because myself and my baby and spending were in the car, while his elder brother, Darosha, was not at the scene. He went to change money for the people at the scene. And when Ibrahim came back to the Prado to meet myself, my husband and spending, and he was really mad and was sounding angry. Question: that is Ibrahim? Wunmi: yes, and he said he called Mohbad's brother and his brother responded to him rudely, and that was not the first time. And if it was Ayuba, Prime Boy's brother, that if it was him that reacted to my husband that way, he knew what Prime Boy would have done to Ayuba. So my husband said he shouldn't say all these things. That does he want him to beat his brother at this show, that he should wait till when he gets to the house, and he kept on talking. Question: who kept on talking? Wunmi: Prime Boy. And he said he was supposed to discipline Adura for him. And my husband said he cannot be at that scene. And my husband said to him that whenever I am outside, you address me as Mohbad. And when I am inside, I am Promise. And you don't talk to me like that. And Ibrahim asked him to shut up. Question: when they were having this argument, were they inside the car? Wunmi: they were inside the car and I was sitting at the middle. Question: you said people were many and he doesn't like being called Promise. Were people hearing them? Wunmi: no, the glass was up and he told Prime Boy to stop talking to him in that manner. And they were friends from childhood. And he kept on saying that he was supposed to discipline Adura. And Adura was not just doing this. And he said he cannot do that at the scene. Let them get to the house. But Prime Boy told him to shut up. And my husband got mad at him. And he could not hit him because I was in the car with the baby. And when I was trying to hold him, he jacked my hand and went to meet Prime Boy, which resulted to fight. Question: inside the car? Wunmi: no. My husband came down from the car to meet Prime Boy and it resulted into a fight. And I was holding my baby. So I just tried to scream for help. Question: you said they were fighting. Were they talking or they were using their fists? Wunmi, when the whole thing happened, I was not fully present. I was trying to call his workers inside the Prado because I knew I could not separate them. I ran to meet his workers at the second Prado. Question, the driver of it was there? Wunmi, I don't know at that point. Yes, he should be there. Question, I'm trying to get a description of what happened. Let's imagine I was in the car. You, your baby. Wunmi, Spendy was at the back seat. Question, your husband, where were you sitting? Wunmi, my husband sat by the door. I sat at the middle, then Prime Boy. Question, that means he opened the door, came down, came around, and opened the other door where Prime Boy was. Wunmi, yes, I think so. Question, that means he dragged Prime Boy out. Wunmi, no. Prime Boy was seated in the car when the whole thing was happening. Question, if they were fighting and the other gentleman was in the vehicle, he would have to open that door to face him and fight him. Wunmi, that was why I said not fully present. Immediately I knew they wanted to start fighting. They were always having issues, and immediately I saw it. I knew it would lead to it, and they were childhood friends. The cause, the capacity of the vehicle, is it a three-seated or a two-seater? Wunmi, a three-seated, one seat at the back, three-seated in the middle, then the driver and passenger. The court, then it can take how many people, the capacity? Question by Mr. O.E. Akinde. How many people capacity? How many people can sit in that car comfortably? Wunmi, I think 5. Question, 5 with the driver inclusive? Wunmi, I think 6 plus the driver. Question, following your description, he went around and who was sitting in the front? Wunmi, it was his brother. He went to change money. Question, but the driver was present. Wunmi, the driver was outside. I think he was just resting on his car. He was waiting for us so that we can move. Question, that means he was outside, meaning when he turned, the driver saw him. Wunmi, the driver should see him. Question, how did they start fighting? Because Prime Boy was still seated in the car. Wunmi, immediately I saw my husband going to meet Prime Boy. I went to meet his workers that they should come and meet Mohbad. And when I got there, I already saw people separating them. Question, these people you saw separating them, did you know any one of them? Wunmi, no. But his workers that followed us were like 7. The court, you said while separating them, what position was Prime Boy and Mohbad? Wunmi, Prime Boy was still seated in the car while my husband was standing. Question by Mr. M.O.E. Akinde. I guess the window by this time should have been lowered so he can see Prime Boy. Wunmi, as how? Question, I asked you earlier that while he was speaking and they were having this argument, were people hearing them? And you said no, that they wind up. And by the time he turned down around to meet Prime Boy, was the window still wind up or it was wind down? Wunmi, it was wind up. Question, I guess it was wind up. Wunmi, I had to start calling people, and before I got there, they had started separating them, and they had to push Prime Boy outside that he should go and shouldn't come with us in the Prado. So we left the scene. Question, you know that's how he died, and I started with the nurse giving him injection, and I asked what led to his death. So what led to the injury that necessitated the injection? Wunmi, it was the fight. Question, at what point did he suffer that injury? Wunmi, I don't know. Question, when I asked him if the window was down, Ajishebiri informed us that he suffered an injury because he hit the window of the Prado. Wunmi, yes, the Prado was broken, the glass, it got broken. Question, did you see how or what led to it? Wunmi, it was the fight. I think when my husband was trying to throw him a punch. Question, fine boy was seated, Wunmi, yes, and the window was still up, Wunmi, yes. That means he hit the window. Wunmi, no, the door was opened. Question, that means you agree with me that when he came down and went round, he opened the door to drag him out. Wunmi, he opened the door but didn't drag him out. Question, where were all the fans? Wunmi, they were trying to separate them with the workers because I remember I saw Bami. Question, Ajishebiri? Wunmi, yes, he was at the scene too, and I saw some people trying to separate them. Question, in between that period, the window got broken and saw that injury. Wunmi, not head and up and down. Question, can you describe where and the extent of the injury? Wunmi, demonstrating just a cut. Question, a very minor cut? Wunmi, yes, a minor cut. Question, the opening of that injury, was it one or different cuts? Wunmi, one cut. Question, one minor small cut? Wunmi, yes. Question, and this happened what time? Wunmi, I don't know. Question, what date? Wunmi, September 10th, 2023. 10th, 2023. Question, what day of the month was September 10th? Wunmi, Wunmi, Sunday. Question, Sunday night, he had this injury, Wunmi, but after the show, we waited for like 2 hours, so I don't know if we had crossed to the next day. Question, this show, was it a Saturday over Sunday or Sunday over Monday? Wunmi, it was a Sunday over Monday. Question, what day did this nurse that came to inject him came to the house? Wunmi, on the 12th. Question, what day? Wunmi, Tuesday. Question, so he suffered this injury Sunday over Monday, and between that time and Tuesday, the nurse came. Did he go to any hospital? Wunmi, no, he did not. Question, did anybody medically inclined attend to him? Wunmi, no. Question, this injury that he said was very minor, that we could just pass off, how was he feeling in relation to that injury? Wunmi, when we got to the house, I was mad at him because of the incident. So I went to my son's room to sleep. He's the type that doesn't like sleeping alone. And when he knew I was angry at him, he now used Bami as disguise that he should come and ask for water from me. Then Bami knocked, and when I opened the door and saw my husband, and he was smiling at me and telling me sorry for everything. And I allowed him inside and I apologized for everything. And I said, let me see your hand. And he showed me and said, what does he want to do? And he said, the nurse will come tomorrow. Question, the nurse will come tomorrow. Wunmi, yes, I massaged it with a rug that night. I told him we should go to the hospital before doing that. Question, with the kind permission of the court, I want to remove my jacket and demonstrate something to her. Which of the two hands was it? Wunmi, I think it is the left. Question, you said a small wound. Was it a scratch or a deep cut? Wunmi, it was not really deep. It was just a normal cut, but it was removing blood. Question, blood was gushing out. Wunmi, it was just coming out, not gushing. Question, just bit by bit. Wunmi, yes. Question, you said you applied rope to that. Was it just an opening? Wunmi, yes, it was an opening, not deep. Question, if you remove this first layer before the blood comes, there's a whitish part of our body. Wunmi, no. That means it was just a scratch. Wunmi, it was a normal cut. Question, then you applied the rope. Wunmi, what happened is that when he came inside the room, after apologizing, he said, have I seen his hand? And I said we should go to the hospital. And my husband won't go to the hospital because of some certain things. And I said, you can't sleep like this. And I checked around. I wanted to give him paracetamol, but there was no paracetamol. And I saw a rug, and I used it to massage the side of the wound. Question, not the face, Wunmi, the side, the flesh till the next morning. He wasn't even feeling pain, and he said the nurse will come the next day. So we slept, and we are already in another day. On Monday morning because we got home around 3 a.m. also, and he slept till around 1 p.m. the next day. Question. So he slept for close to 9 hours between 3 to 1 p.m. Wunmi, yes. Question. Was he beside you? Wunmi, yes, beside me and my baby. Question. Who woke up first that day? Wunmi, I was the one. Question. And when you woke up, he was still sleeping? Wunmi, yes. Question. How was the sleep? Wunmi, he was sleeping fine. Question. No issue. Wunmi, he was sleeping fine. Question. I'm asking you because you said he was tired, and I asked you, was it because he exerted too much energy or because he was not feeling too well or restless? Wunmi, because of the stress. Question. This particular time, he slept for this length of time? Wunmi, yes. Question. You woke up, your baby woke up, and every other person woke up and attended to their morning chores. Question. Wunmi, not everybody was awake. They used to wake up very late in that house. Everybody in the house, including my husband, sometimes they wake up around 7 p.m. Question. Including this Ajishebiri? Wunmi, yes, all of them. I woke up, attended to my baby, prepared rice and sauce for all of us, and I came back inside. I was the one that woke him up. Babe, you need to wake. So you need to be awake. What do you want to do to your hand? And he said the nurse will come and he doesn't want to go to the hospital. Question. That was on that same Monday. Wunmi, yes, in the afternoon. I was the one who woke him up around 1 p.m. Question. But throughout that day, the nurse never came. Wunmi, the nurse never came. Question. And nobody attended to the wound? Wunmi, yes. Question. Around what time did the nurse come? Wunmi, around 1 p.m. or 2. Question. That means for over 48 hours, apart from the Wunmi, and Bami got a Panadol. Question. Apart from those two, nobody attended to the hand? Wunmi, yes. Question. You said it was a scratch? Wunmi, yes. Question. Not an open wound? Wunmi, it was a wound not as deep as you think. Question. We shouldn't be talking about infection. Wunmi, yes, but the second day, the hand was swollen. Question. Was it close to the elbow? Wunmi, no, just like us, this side of the hand. Demonstration. Question. I'm sorry to use your hand. Still raise your hand. If you are saying the hand was swollen, can you describe the bulginess? How much did it bulge? Wunmi, I do not know how to explain. Question. Let's use this book. If this is the face of the hand, demonstrating, but you can say it was swollen. Wunmi, yes, we are now on Tuesday. Question. Throughout Monday, the nurse did not come, and on Tuesday, the nurse that came in the afternoon. Wunmi, yes. Question. How was he on Monday, Tuesday, up to the point the nurse came? Wunmi, he was fine. He went downstairs to play with his workers. He was fine. We gisted all through Monday. Question. Did he make any reference to the fact that his hand was swollen? What was going on? Any apprehension about it? Wunmi, yes, he was feeling pain. Question. Was he free to move his hand? Wunmi, yes, he was free. And he even had his bath that day. Question. When the nurse came that day, what was the first thing he did? Wunmi, she tried to check. Question. His vitals, his temperature? Wunmi, no, she didn't. Question. She didn't do any of that? Wunmi, she didn't. She checked the wooden part and I can't remember. Question. The nurse came. She asked for the patient and took out the patient. Then what happened? Or she never asked what happened. She just brought out the injection. Wunmi, she asked. Question. Then you showed her. Did she feel the hand? Wunmi, yes, she did. Question. And when she was putting her hand, was he feeling any pain? Wunmi, no. I think he was feeling pain. I've forgotten most times, so sorry. Question. At what point did the nurse think that for something like this, an injection would do rather than a paracetamol? Wunmi, before the nurse started the medication, I told her, myself and the DJ, because it was the DJ that contacted her. Question, if you can, because of the record, put a name to this DJ. Wunmi, Bami. Question, Bami is Ajishebiri. Wunmi, yes, a friend of my husband called Spending. Question, do you know his first name? Wunmi, I have forgotten. He also followed us to the show. He was in the house the next morning, and there was a particular nurse that usually treats Mohbad, but she was not around. So Spending heard Bami talking about nurse. Question, Bami would be Ajishebiri. Wunmi, yes, Spending reached out. Question, who is this Spending? Wunmi, he's a close friend to my husband. Wunmi, I have a question, what does he do? Wunmi, they go to shows together. Question, we know Ajishebiri as the DJ. We know Ibrahim as the photographer. This Spending, what does he do? Wunmi, he is a friend to Mohbad. Question, what does he do? Wunmi, I don't know. Question, he sings, rap, dance? Wunmi, no, but they have been close friends for 3 years now. Question, he was the one that recommended this particular nurse? Wunmi, yes. Question, when the nurse came, was Spending still at home? Wunmi, Spending left on Monday morning. Question, and he said he would get the nurse to come the next day. Wunmi, not the next day. He said he would get the nurse to come and treat my husband, and the nurse has been treating Spending for over 2 years, and he gave Bami the nurse's contacts, and that was how Bami got the contacts of the nurse. Question, let's rewind it. We have asked who was the deceased, and we've asked when the deceased died, and asked where and when did he die. We are now in how he died. So it was the after effects of the medication given to him by the nurse that triggered the reaction that necessitated you going to the hospital, and that same day was when he died? Wunmi, yes. Question, if you observed, I didn't make any reference to any of your statements. We will just take one or two and I'll be done with you. Is that okay? Wunmi, yes. Question, on the night he had a show, on the 10th, did you see anybody related to Mr. Fashola, Naira Mali at the event? Wunmi, I was in the Prado all through. I did not step out. Question, so you wouldn't have known if anybody related to or Mr. Fashola was there? Wunmi, I wouldn't have known. Question, also, if you were in the Prado all through, you wouldn't have known if any operative of NDLA was there? Wunmi, I was in the car all through. Question, in your statement, with the kind permission of the court, I will read it out. Paragraph 4, you read it. Which day were you referring to? Wunmi, that was February 22, 2022. Question, when did he die? Wunmi, he died September 12, 2023. Question, that is roughly a year after. Wunmi, yes. Question, and you said because of the encounter with NDLA, he chose not to go to the hospital. Wunmi, yes. Question, and this event with the NDLA happened a year after his death? Wunmi, yes. Question, yes, he chose not to go to the hospital. Wunmi, yes. Question, also in your statement, the third one, I will read it. You read. This event that happened, you weren't there. Wunmi, I was there. Question, you said in paragraph 4, as read, when we got there, where were you coming from? Wunmi, when we got where? Question, it is in your statement. Wunmi, can you please read it out? Yes, we were not in the house on this day. My husband, his friend, and his friend's girlfriend were not in the house. Question, you are informed that the NDLA came to assist addition of Fashola's house? Wunmi, yes. Question, thereafter you came to the house? Wunmi, because that is where he stays. He stays this. Question, who stays? Wunmi, Aziz Fashola, the labor boss, gave him and 4 other signees a house to stay in. So they all stayed together. Question, the house he gave him to stay, was it the same house that the NDLA came? Wunmi, yes. When he got the information, question, when he got the information was when he came. Wunmi, we were in the studio and he wanted to get something, maybe mic or something. When we got the call from his friend, Whiskered, that NDLA officers were at the house. Question, that means Whiskered was at home when they came. Wunmi, yes. Question, the NDLA didn't come personally for your husband? Wunmi, yes, they didn't come personally for him. Question, possibly they came for Aziz Fashola. Wunmi, he was not in the country. Question, I know, but possibly they came for him. Sorry, there was no O there. He was not in the country. Question, I know, but possibly they came for him. Wunmi, I don't know. They did not go to his personal house. They went to the other sign's house, my husband's and the rest's apartment. Question, this incident happened in February 22nd, 2022, but Mohbad died, Wunmi, September 12th, 2023. Question, can I have the documents? In many of your statements, you made references to many of the incidents that your husband had with the people that he fought with, but unfortunately, on the day that he died, because you were in the car all through, you did not see this incident. Wunmi, I did not. Question, so you couldn't have made a link between them and the incidents? Question, the reason for this precedence are those 4 questions I asked you. Who is the deceased? Where did the deceased die? When did he die? And how he died? So I'm saying most of the things you have said here happened months and years before his death. Is that correct? Wunmi, yes. Question, and there's no link between those events and events that happened in that September? Wunmi, yes. Question, when we at how he died, I wasn't there. If you were to play the rewind button, the incident that led to him going to that hospital where he was pronounced dead was because 2 nights before he had an injury. A nurse was called 2 days after the injury, but unfortunately, he reacted to the medication he was given. Then he called for help, took him to the hospital, but unfortunately he died. So his death, depending on what the pathologist will say, was as a result of that injury and medication of that day. Would you agree with me? Or do you think the events involving the NDLA, the events of that day, that he fought with Samson Eletu, and events he had with them were not the reason for what happened at that September 12th? Wunmi, those events are part of what led to his death. Question, 2 things. I have asked you, the hospital you didn't go, and you have said because of the NDLA. You said he was fearful for the NDLA and he chose not to go to the hospital. Wunmi, that's not it. It was part of it. I needed to explain better. That was why I reached out to this Corona Inquest, because I want justice for him. And I feel this is the way I can express myself. Question, Mr. Oya, please go ahead. Wunmi, after the NDLA period of February 2022, they hit him with a gun on his head. Question, were you there when they hit him? Wunmi, I was there. Question, you saw when they hit him? Wunmi, I was there when they were harassing him, and when I saw it was too much, I was trying to rescue him from the NDLA officers. But unfortunately, they packed everybody to their vehicle. Question, at what point were they harassing him? Wunmi, when we got to the scene, we saw that Zinoleski was handcuffed and he went to the house purposely because of Zinoleski and his brother Adura, because they were in the house. Immediately he heard the news, he said, my brothers are in the house. So he went to the scene with my sis girlfriend, myself and himself, and we went with his car. When we got there, we saw that they had handcuffed Zinoleski and he approached the NDLA officers and asked them why they were trying to arrest him. and the NDLA officers became violent with everybody. And when my husband was trying to ask questions, they started hitting him and attacking him. And they were trying to attack me too. And the NDLA officer was trying to hold a gun. And I asked, "Do you want to shoot me?" And I was only asking a question, which he should answer as he is a citizen. He became violent with everybody, and they took Zenoliski and the rest away with them. While they also went with my husband's car, myself and everybody was in his car. They packed everybody inside. When we got to the estate gate, they didn't want them to leave. So they came outside and started pulling the gun, and they started harassing us and packed everybody from my husband's car. And they beat me to stupor. There are evidences. I had to fall inside the gutter, and while they were doing all that, I didn't know when they hit the gun on his head, but I know they tortured him and he was screaming for help. I heard his voice. Question. All this happened still within the estate. Wunmi, I heard him screaming for help, and I was helpless too, and couldn't come to his rescue. So they took them to the police station, and the next morning, I couldn't locate them, and I knew if I go to the police station with what I have done, they were going to keep me. So the next morning, they released my husband alone, and he came to the house, and he was really mad at me that I didn't go with him. And I tried to explain the situation on ground to him. And I even showed him where I was beaten. And they removed my wig. And they said no matter what, I should have checked on him or looked for a way. And I explained that I was the only one left. They packed everybody and I had to run into the security when I heard the gunshots. And he said they gave him a white substance to drink. And truly, when he got back, I saw him pulling out a whitish substance from his mouth. And he said he was having a headache. I was even the one that checked and asked what happened to him here because that place was swollen. And he said they hit him with gun yesterday. Then I said this thing has a mark already. And I showed him with a phone. Question. You snapped it, Wunmi, and he saw it and he wanted to take paracetamol. And I went to get him paracetamol to take, but he was still not feeling better. He said he was still feeling headache. I gave him food to eat and he did not eat, and he said he was feeling somehow. He was not comfortable. He was inside AC and still sweating. At night, we went to the corridor, myself, my husband, Adura, and one of his workers' body. We sat at the corridor while he went downstairs. While he went downstairs to receive a call because his phone was ringing, and the next thing we saw was the live video he did, screaming for help. And that night, I couldn't ask what happened. We just wanted to know his whereabouts. Myself and his brother went to the scene and took him away from there with one of Naramali's signing called C Black. We took him inside the car while we were going. He said he doesn't want to go to that Naramali's house again, that we should take him to the hospital. While he was still on live video, we got to the hospital and he was inside and they attended to him. And after the whole thing, we went to his friend's place. Question. That hospital, what was the diagnosis? What was wrong? Wunmi, they checked him out and they said nothing was on his head. That maybe because of the shock of the NDLA. Question. The hospital said for his head nothing. Wunmi, yes. Question. Did they check his body? What did they say was the after effects of what he took at the hospital? Wunmi, after taking him to the hospital, I didn't remember them saying anything because he left the hospital the next day and he said he wasn't comfortable at the hospital, that he feels some people are working with. Question. The NDLA? Wunmi, yeah, and he needed to go. Question by Mr. O.E. Akinde. Should we now say that ever since that incident, he had not been himself again? Wunmi, he had not been himself again. Question, in quotes, could that have been the reason why he said he was not feeling well that night because of the incident you are trying to link up? Wunmi, he never said he wasn't feeling too well. He said he was tired because people were calling his name, shouting and banging his car. Question, I want to link what you said now to the event of how he died. You said after that 22nd of February 2022, Wunmi, with the constant harassment after the NDLA, his best friend, Bella's mother, got him an apartment in his estate, and the family was there and he was still not getting himself. Question, you said he was not getting himself. In what sense? Wunmi, he said there was something wrong with his head, that he was not feeling comfortable. Question, banging? Wunmi, yes, he said it was banging. Question, was he hallucinating, talking to himself? Was he in charge of his senses? Wunmi, no. But he called me to the room and said that I'm the only one that can help him out, that I should please help him understand what happened, and that he really remembers things. Question, that means once in a while he will forget some things and he will need someone. Wunmi, yes. Question, but that did not take his life, did it? Wunmi, it did not. But what I'm trying to pull out is that his oppressors, after the NDLA, a lot of things started happening. Constant bullying that made him leave the label, and a lot of threats. So many threats. Question, all these so many bullying threats happened after the NDLA up to months after, till that September. Wunmi, not to that day, but it kept on happening. Question, if it kept on happening, were those things what led to that injury? Did it lead to that injury? Wunmi, it did not. Question, all those things, did it culminated in the reaction of the medication given? Wunmi, it did not. Question, the reason why I'm asking this is because my Lord has 4 things to answer, and our duty is to assist my Lord to get at how he died. Those other aspects of this will be in court for the trial, so that we can focus on assisting my Lord to get at what happened on that day. I'm saying now, accepted all those things happened, but one led to the death was his reaction to the medication he was given, that necessitated him being taken to the hospital. Wunmi, yes. Question, but on getting to the hospital, unfortunately, he left us. That was what happened, Wunmi, yes. Question, for that nurse, it was Penny that recommended that nurse, Wunmi, yes. Question, and he said he has been using that nurse for 2 years, Wunmi, yes. Question, now, did the nurse carry out any tests before making medication? Wunmi, I was not fully present at that scene. I was in the kitchen. Question, who was with him? Wunmi, I was in the kitchen cooking. Question, by the time you came out and you made the nurse with him, who was there? Wunmi, nobody, only him and the nurse. But when the nurse came, myself, Bami, the nurse and my husband were in the room. Question, as at the time you came, you met only him and the nurse? Wunmi, you mean the last injection? Question, were there more than one? The first the nurse arrived, who took the nurse? The court. I think at this point, I want you to tell us what happened from the minute the nurse entered the room of the deceased. Give us a broader explanation to what happened. Wunmi, when the nurse entered, myself, Bami, my husband, he was in my son's room. The room was very small, and the nurse left my son's room to I and my husband's room for the medication. And when we got there, the nurse checked the wound and said to DJ that she already told him to snap the wound before getting to the house. Questioned by MOE, Mr. OE Akinde, did he send the picture? Wunmi, yes, he did. Question, so why was she complaining? Wunmi, it was when she was on her way coming, that she saw it. Maybe her data was not on or something. Immediately she put out some injections. And myself and the DJ said he was an ulcer patient and she should be careful of the medication she will administer to him. And she said, thank God we informed her. Thereafter, she injected him here. Me demonstrating. After the injection, I went back to the kitchen because I was cooking and I came back upstairs. She was trying to administer another injection. When I went downstairs, I was not fully present. I was cooking in the kitchen. And the last time I came upstairs, I heard my husband saying, remove it, because he was feeling somehow. Then he went to the restroom and vomited and peed. And immediately he said he was not feeling too well, that the injection was reacting on his body. And I held his hands and he sat on the floor. And he said we should pour him water. And his brother and Bami and I shouted their names for help. And they came upstairs and immediately the nurse saw that he was reacting that way. She said there's a drip she was supposed to pass to him. Question: a drip she should have? Wunmi, no, to prevent the way he was feeling. Immediately the nurse and the DJ, Bami went downstairs and immediately I called OG. Question: what is his full name? Wunmi Idris. Question: the photographer. Wunmi, yes. Adra went to get water and poured it on him and he said he was not comfortable, that he needed AC. And his room's AC was not working, so we carried him to our son's room. And he was still breathing and he was still reacting to, he was still feeling uncomfortable. So we rushed downstairs to look for a car, and on getting there, the mechanic was working on the car and he said the car was not working, and Adra was with me. So I told him to rush to the other street to get a car. Adra came downstairs with me and it was just him and OG that was left in the room. Adra and I came downstairs to find a way out to rush him to the hospital. I was telling people passing to help me that I needed help, and one of the people said I should knock the neighbor's gate, and I knocked for 5 minutes. And he came downstairs and I narrated everything that happened to him. I told the people outside to help me upstairs to carry my husband. And when we got outside, the nurse and Bami met us on our way, taking him to the hospital. And they followed us in the car, and on our way going, there was traffic at Orchard Road. Question by Mr. O. Iakinde. You said so. When the nurse and Adishibiri came back, you were already in the vehicle about to leave? Wunmi, we were about to put him in the vehicle. Question: so whatever it is the nurse went to buy, she never administered it on him? Wunmi shakes head side to side. Question: my lord, that will be all. Cross-examination by Mr. David Fadili. Please hold on, let me get some water. Don't worry, I have the water here. Cross-examination by Mr. David Fadili. Please, what is your name? Wunmi, my name is Aloba Cynthia. Question: I sympathize with you in respect to the death of your husband. You were married legally to Mohbad. Wunmi, no, traditionally. Question: you live together with him? Wunmi, yes. Question: how many of you lived in that apartment? Wunmi, myself, our son, himself, and his workers. Question: how many of his workers? Tell the court their names. Wunmi, Bami, Adura, Ore, Idris, that's all, but people often come. Question: but those who stay with you, about 7 of them? Wunmi, yes. Question: you said Mohbad sustained injury on the 10th of September after his performance at Korodu. A minor injury, that is what you said? Wunmi, yes. Question: after his injury, did you inform the father? Wunmi, no, I did not. Question: when you arrived at your residence, your house in Lekki, you didn't take him to the hospital? Wunmi, yes. Question: in your written statement, you said we administered Panadol on the 11th of September. Wunmi, yes. Question: and your language is we. Wunmi, it was not me that got the Panadol. Question: paragraph 33. Who are the we that gave him Panadol? Wunmi, the deceased, my husband, instructed Bami to get him Panadol extra to relieve the pain. Question, that was on Monday, around what time? Wunmi, I don't know, but he took the Panadol at night. Question, at night? I think in the afternoon. Question, at what time did you get this Panadol? Wunmi, I do not. Question, who gave him the Panadol? Wunmi, he took it himself. I encouraged him to take it. Question, who bought the Panadol? Wunmi, Bami, his DJ. Question, who sent Bami to buy the Panadol? Question, he himself sent Bami. Question, that is on Monday. Wunmi, yes. Question by the court. The court, why did he use the Panadol? What was the reason? Wunmi, he said to reduce the pain. The court, so he was feeling pains? Wunmi, yes, he was feeling pains. Mr. David Fadley, you said earlier on that you administered drug. Wunmi, the night we got back on Sunday, the court, was very good. Was on Sunday you used raw? There are some typo errors there, so I'm reading it word for word. Sorry, everybody. Was on Sunday you used raw? Wunmi, yes. Question, at what time did you administer rub on the minor injury he sustained? Wunmi, it was on Monday. We got to the house around 3 a.m. and immediately I went inside my son's room to sleep with my son. He was downstairs with his workers and everybody. They were downstairs gisting, and he came to me and he knew I was mad at him for what he did at the show. So he did not knock the door, and he told Bami to request for water. When I opened the door, I saw him smiling at me, and he came to the room and apologized for disrespecting me at the show. And he said, I see his hand, and he said it was when they were fighting that he injured himself. And I asked if we should go to the hospital, and he said no, and I used drug for the side, which I did. Question, that was when he returned back from the show? Wunmi, yes. Question, that same day was when you guys got him Panadol? Wunmi, yes, Bami got him Panadol. Question, from the event to Sunday and Monday, you kept these details away from the father? Wunmi, yes. Question, who called the nurse that administered the injection? Wunmi, his friend. Question, what is the name of this person? Wunmi, Spending. Question, you don't know his full name? Wunmi, I don't know. We call him Spending. Question, what is the position of that Spending in your family? Wunmi, he's my husband's close friend. They've been friends for 4 years since 2019. Question, when a nurse came, the nurse that was invited by Spending, she came on Monday. Wunmi, Tuesday afternoon. Question, what did you tell the nurse? What information did you give to the nurse before she started administering injection? Wunmi, I explained what happened at the show to her. Question, what did you explain? Wunmi, that he sustained an injury with broken glasses. Question, and the next thing the nurse did was to bring out injection. Wunmi, she checked how he was feeling. I don't know how it is done. Question, when you were there, Wunmi, I was not fully present. I was in the kitchen cooking. I was there when the nurse came, and Bami and I told her that he had ulcer and she should be mindful of what she would give to him. And she said, thank God we informed her earlier. I don't know the medication she administered, but I know for a fact that she touched the wounded area and she proceeded. Question, did you have an interaction with the nurse when she came? Wunmi, no. That was the first time I would see her. Question, did you have any conversation with her? Wunmi, I did, and that was me talking about how the whole thing went. I explained to her. Question, so after the explanation, you went to the kitchen, you left the nurse with your husband? Wunmi, no, I was there. After massaging, she administered one injection on his left hand. I was not fully present during the whole thing. Question, I didn't ask for the whole. As at the time she was administering that injection, you were there? Wunmi, yes, I was there. Question, did you ask the nature of the injection she was administering on your husband? Wunmi, I did not. Question, exactly, you did not ask. Wunmi, I do not know. I have not been a nurse. Question. After that injection, what happened? Wunmi, he was still fine, and I proceeded to the kitchen because food was on fire before she came. I was in the kitchen, and when I came back, I saw the nurse trying to pull out another injection. Question. The nurse was bringing out another injection after the first one. Wunmi, yes, after the first one. I was in the kitchen, and the moment I opened the door, I heard him say the nurse should remove the syringe. She was inserting into his vein that he was feeling somehow, and he went to the restroom to vomit and pee. Question. So how many injections? Wunmi, I do not know, sir. I was not fully at the scene. I was going and coming. The court. Mrs. Aloba, the question he asked is that coming in and going out, how many injections do you think she would have administered? Is it 10 or 1 or 3? Wunmi, 2. I only saw her twice injecting. It was the second one I saw immediately I opened the door. The court, where was she injecting the second one? Wunmi, in his room. Question, what part of the body? Wunmi, at this side, she demonstrated through his vein. The court, and you did not question the nurse that what kind of injection? Has he been taking injections like that through his vein? Wunmi, yes, he has, not injection, drip. The court, the question is injection. Have you seen him taking injection? Everybody knows that drips are given through the vein, and injections can only be passed while the drip is on. But most of us are aware that injection is given on the bum lab or something. So in your knowledge as an educated person, have you seen your husband taking injection through his vein before now? Wunmi shakes head side to side. The court, have you seen anybody that you know taking injections through the veins? Wunmi, I do not know. Mr. David Fadley, what happened after an injection? Wunmi, he reacted to it, and immediately I opened the door. I heard him telling the nurse to remove the needle from his vein. I was feeling somehow, and immediately he went to the restroom to vomit and pee. And he said he was still feeling uncomfortable, and he sat on the door and instructed us to pour him water. And that was when I called his brother and Bami. Then Bami and the nurse went to get a drip. Question. At what point was he taken to the hospital? Wunmi, immediately after getting the car, because we were looking for a car to take him to the hospital. His car was faulty and the mechanic was working on it. Question. Before he got to the hospital, what happened? Wunmi, I do not know. I was at the front seat with the nurse and my baby. Question. The nurse followed you to the hospital? Wunmi, yes. Question, you were not in the car with him? Wunmi, with my husband? I was in the car. He was at the back and his workers carried him. Question, before you got to the hospital, what happened? Wunmi, on our way going back to the hospital, there was traffic at Orchard Road. And while we were going, the driver looked back and held his hand and said his hand was getting cold. Mr. T.E. Olawale, my lord, because of the time of the court, all these questions have been asked severally. It should go to new questions that has not been asked by the state council, and she's a widow. She's still mourning her husband. It is not easy. Mr. David Fadley, my lord, the council is just being emotional. The father of the son is here, and he's interested in what happened to his son. Please permit me to conduct the proceeding on behalf of the family. At what point was he confirmed dead? Wunmi, when we got to the hospital, Kuramed Hospital, Mr. David Fadley, was a certificate issued to you by the hospital that confirmed him dead? Wunmi, no. The court, what was their reason? Wunmi, I do not know. They didn't allow me to go to the room with him. It was his brother and Bami that went to the room with him. Mr. David Fadley, after he was confirmed dead, where did you take his body to? Wunmi, after he was confirmed dead at the second hospital. Question, yes. Wunmi, I entered another Uber. I don't know how I got to the house, but I know it was another Uber that took me home. When we got to the house, people started coming. Question, the cops. You said you arrived at the hospital. Wunmi, yes. Question, and the hospital confirmed him dead. Wunmi, yes. Question, the certificate of his death was not issued to you, but the hospital confirmed that he was brought in dead. Wunmi, yes. No, I think it was the second hospital. Question, whether it was the first or second hospital, they confirmed that he was brought in dead. Wunmi, yes. Question, but there was no medical certificate issued. Wunmi, yes. The corpse of Mohbad, where did you take it to? Wunmi, the corpse was taken home by his cousin, Darusha, and his brother, Adra, to our house in Orchard. Question, why was the corpse not taken to the morgue? Wunmi, at this point, I did not know anything. Question, so you are not in charge of your home, is that what you are saying? Wunmi, I'm in charge of my home, but by the time my husband died, I barely remember anything. I was not in my right senses. I did not understand anything at that point. I just saw that they took him inside the car and took him home, and I knew it was another Uber that took me home. So they took his corpse back to the house. Wunmi, yes. Question, at that point, did you make any contact or calls? Wunmi, I didn't know where I dropped my phone. Question, I have a couple of allegations, probably in form of allegations, and you can use this forum to clear those allegations. The court, counsel, at this point, any question that would attack the character should not be asked. We are here to find out what caused the death of the deceased. Question. There was an allegation that all night. Wunmi, let me read that place again. Question, what happened to the issue of Canadian visa that he got without letting you know and you were angry with him? Wunmi, I was not angry with him. Myself and my father-in-law used to be best of friends. We eat from the same table and drink from the same cup. He was my best of friends, my right hand in my marriage. With faith with him, and God was how I had my baby Liam. He walked up to me and said the Holy Spirit told him that myself, him, and my husband should fast for 7 days and we will have a baby, which we did. And while I was pregnant, he will bring fruits, vegetables, foodstuffs, and everything to me. While I was pregnant, we were best of friends. I did not kill my husband, and my husband loved me so much. I know that all these allegations coming across me is from my father-in-law. God sees my heart. He was my best friend. Sometimes I call him to visit me whenever I am bored. That was how close we are. I'm not trying to hide that I am guilty, but I am just surprised and disappointed about so many things happening. The only issue between me and my father-in-law was when I had my baby and he told me to give him the placenta. Question, I did not ask you those questions. Wunmi, please let me talk. I know where this attack is coming from. You are also a woman. Please let me talk. I never wronged him. I loved him like a father. I was the one that started this corona inquest. The court. The only way you can get justice for your husband you so much love is to listen to the questions. Answer the questions that has been asked. Wunmi, He said I was fighting my husband for Canadian visa, which never happened. The court, that is the answer. Just answer the questions you are being asked, because when you open the door for more questions, you might not like it at the end of the day. Wunmi, there have been so many allegations. The court, let the allegations be asked, then you would answer one step at a time. Wunmi, a lot of lies have been coming, and I want to clear the air. The court, everybody knows that, and the court sympathizes with you. Please calm down. How old are you? Wunmi, I am 24. The court, I myself, my daughter is about 25 years old. I can feel your pain and what is going on in your head. Wunmi, a lot. They want to kill me, but I will not die for my child. The court, you have to calm down to answer this question so that justice will be served. Please face the court and answer the questions. Do you want your family member to get you water? Wunmi, yes, ma'am. Question by Mr. David Fadley. I recap my question. On Monday, 11 September 2023, there was a quarrel between you and your husband as regards the fact that he got a Canadian visa for himself without letting you know. Wunmi, nothing as such happened. That day, we were just gisting, and we see each other as best friends, and we usually talk about everything, and sometimes we are in the room for a week. Sometimes we would not step out for 2 days. And the day we talked about Canadian visa, I was the one that posted it on the media. Nobody knew it. That day, we were talking, and we wanted to have my baby outside the country, but we did not have enough money then. When he left the label last year, he left with 0 naira. And when I had my baby at April, there was not enough money. He said he does not want his child to clock a year in this country, that he wanted my child to school outside your country. And I kept postponing him. And that day, he said he did not want the baby to grow up in this country. And he knows the kind of music he does, and many people do not love him. And did I see that ever since we had our baby, he did not post him on the media. He said a lot of people are watching after him, and if they don't get to him, they may get to his child or wife. And I used to query him that why doesn't he post me on the media? And he will say that he's trying to take me away from them. And you know that me, I'm a bad boy. I am stubborn. They may get to me and my child. He said he really wants us to travel out of the country. And he said I should leave him alone to face these people, which are his oppressors. And he said I should travel with the child. And he doesn't want Liam to clock a year in Nigeria. And I asked how he was going to cope. And he said I should not worry, that I will give him a reason for him to come over to the States often, and that most of his shows will come from overseas because his family will be there. And that day, he almost knelt down begging me. He was so emotional that day. I didn't know what came over him. He was telling me please, and he said for his baby's sake, he doesn't want to post his face to the world until he is a year. And by the time he posts him, nobody will know their whereabouts. And I said, okay, I've heard. And that was the day he said I should collect it. He was the one doing Liam's passport himself. And he put a call over to the person that I was the one coming to collect the passport. That day, I told him that if I travel, I'm a stay-at-home mom. How am I going to be feeding? And he said it's jokingly that I will use his lawyer and that he will sign undertaking that he will not cheat on me and my son when we get to the States. And I said himself and his lawyer will do us on that day. We are still joking. That's Monday. We spoke till 3:40 a.m. on Tuesday. We were gisting, and I really did not know my husband would die in the afternoon. And he didn't even want me to sleep. And he wanted to play with me. And I said I was tired. and he held his baby to his chest and slept till the next day. There was nothing like fighting about Canadian visa because he knows I do not like leaving him and he does not like leaving me too. But he said because of his son, I had to summon that courage that we should go for our safety. Nobody knew on the media that he had a child or wife until he died. There was a reason for hiding myself and our baby. Question. So there was no quarrel. Wunmi, there was no quarrel. Question. Around what time on Tuesday did he die? Do you have an idea? Wunmi, I do not have an idea. Question. Was it in the morning or afternoon? Wunmi, it was in the afternoon. Question. At what point did you inform the father-in-law? Wunmi, I did not inform the father-in-law. The reason is ever since I had my baby, his father has been picking fights with me. And the reason is was when I had my baby, even a day before having my baby, my father-in-law still came over to gift my siblings money. That was how close we were. We were very close, and he was the first to know I was pregnant. And I did not inform him for some reasons. Question. So you did not inform him? Wunmi, I did not inform him for some reasons. My mother-in-law knew. Let me state the reason I didn't inform him. When I had my baby, he insisted on burying the placenta. And my husband said he has many wives. I'm reading again. I did not inform him for some reasons. My mother-in-law knew. Let me state the reason I didn't inform him. When I had my baby, he insisted on burying the placenta, and my husband said he has many wives, and he cannot allow him to bury my baby's placenta. And he got mad at me because he thought I ordered my husband, and my father-in-law usually brings different girls to our house to sleep on the island. And there was a day he brought the lady to the house, to another room, and my mother-in-law came without informing us that day. And immediately my mother-in-law opened the door that they usually sleep. She saw a lady with my father-in-law, and he used to bring them countless times. That day, she didn't inform us before coming. And she met a lady in the room with Baba, and she said, why did I allow such in my matrimonial home? And I begged my mother-in-law not to be angry, and she was really mad, and I didn't want to be in the middle. So I went to meet my husband to inform him of what was happening, and told him that the lady had to leave. And I think the way my husband approached the father was wrong, but eventually my mother-in-law slept downstairs, and the father and the lady slept in the room. And he felt I was the one that ordered my husband, which I never did. And also, aside from the placenta issue, after having my baby, he stopped coming to the house. And on the day of the naming, he said he wanted to do his party in his house. And my husband told Baba that he doesn't have enough money, that the only one he has is for the one he wants to do on the island. And Baba insisted and called my daddy and started cursing him out. If Baba wants something and my husband doesn't give him on time, he would call me. Baba comes to our house twice a week, and my husband told him he doesn't have money. And Baba called me, cursing me that if the boy does not give him money for his own, that he wants to do in the Ikorodu, he will spoil many things. I started begging. I'll read this thing twice. I started begging my husband, and he said he doesn't have money. Baba was thinking I was the one that ordered the son not to give him money. The money, please listen. The money sent to my account as a gift for the naming ceremony, I sent it to Baba. Again, the money sent to my account as a gift for the naming ceremony, I sent it to Baba so that he can be calm. And I told him not to be angry, that I just got this money from someone. Again, the money sent to my account as a gift for the naming ceremony, I sent it to Baba so that he can be calm. And I told him not to be angry, that I just got this money from someone. Question. I want you to me, yes.
Mr. Dawa, can you take that again? Your network is breaking.
And we stopped being close when we had the for the naming ceremony. I sent it to Baba so that he can be calm. And I told him not to be angry, that I just got this money from someone. Question. I want you to save your energy and time. The question I asked is that why didn't you inform your father-in-law and you didn't inform him because you were not close? Wunmi, yes, and we used to be close. We stopped being close when we had Liam. Question. Who informed your father-in-law? Wunmi, I think my mother-in-law. Question. That cut that you said was minor was actually a major cut. It was actually deep. Wunmi, it wasn't that deep. It was a cut, but not deep. Question. Not a deep cut at all. Wunmi, it wasn't. Question. In your house, you have a CCTV? Wunmi, yes. Question. Was there a CCTV recording of the events on Monday, precisely 11th of September? Wunmi, there wasn't. The CCTV camera was not fixed. We just parked to that house. It was even a week before my husband died that we did the parlor chair. The one we were using before, Baba came to park then. The CCTV was not fixed as at then before the incident happened. Question. Because you moved to the house less than a week? Wunmi, no, 4 months. Question. So the entire 4 months you moved to the house, the CCTV was not working? Wunmi, yes, we're just trying to arrange the house. My husband does not have money like people think. The family knows. Question. You have a Twitter account, Wunmi? No. Question. Are you on Instagram, Wunmi? Yes. Question. I want to read a message that you authored as read. This nigger struggled to death. Too many things. Threatened. He has always lived in fear, continuous fight everywhere he goes to. He has never been happy for a whole day. He was called a junkie, a mad person, mental issues, so the public will have another view about him. He's dead, at least you all won. Here's your trophy. You all made me a widow at 24 years. You authored that. Who were you referring to? Wunmi? I was referring to a lot of people. My husband went through pain. He was dead before the real death came. He has never been happy for a day. And what made me say all those things is that we talked about the oppressors the day he died, and that was the reason why he told me and my son to go to Canada. The day I wrote this thing was the day he died. When he was alive, they were always threatening him. There's one guy posting on the media now, Maisi. He used to be his close friend, but the guy snitched on him. He was always with us, talking. The guy has dragged him on social media over 5 times, and sometime in June, he did a live video cursing my husband, calling him drug addict, and laying so many accusations. My husband doesn't go outside anymore. He was always indoor. I always will feed him like a baby, and he does not eat. And I am not always at rest. It is whenever the mother comes that I will leave her to take charge so I can take care of myself and baby. He does not sleep. He overthinks. He has been depressed. His oppressors are always after him. Sometimes they will come with fake accounts to tweet that whenever they see him, they will kill him. Question. Leave the oppressors alone. Wunmi, that was the reason for it. That day, I was not in my right senses. I was just typing, and everything he said before he died was what I was putting on the media. The memories of the things he said before he died were the things coming to my head. Question. Immediately after that injection by the nurse that was invited by spending, Did you have an interaction with the nurse to know the kind of drugs administered on your husband? Wunmi, at what point? I was focused on him. I was just trying to protect him from that situation. Question. That is all. Cross-examination by Mr. David Nowola. Hold on. I want to take water. Okay. Cross-examination by Mr. David Nowola. Question. I would like you to cast your mind back to the events that happened on the 10th of September. After the events, you were not aware that your husband was injured. Wunmi, I wasn't. I was not aware. Question. That is how minute the injury was. I was at home. It was at home you discovered he was injured. Wunmi, yes. Question. You said you were sitting in between your husband and crime boy. At what point did the window of the Prado break? Wunmi, I do not know. It was when we left the scene, I got to see it. Immediately the fight started. I did not have enough strength to separate them. I went to his workers, and on getting there, the fight was just like 2 minutes. It did not take a long time. Question, it was not up to a minute. Wunmi, let me just say a minute. Question, but from your account, you said at a point in time he came down from the vehicle to meet Prime Boy. You saw the struggle and you went to call the attention of his people. Wunmi, yes, his workers in the other Prado. Question, and all of this was not up to 1 minute. Wunmi, when I go back to the scene, I saw people separating them. Question, including the period of time you noticed the glass was broken. Wunmi, it was after the whole thing, on our way going, that I got to know that the glass was broken. Question, the vehicle drove home without a windscreen. Wunmi, yes. Question, yet the injury was not noticed. Wunmi, it was not noticed until I got to the house, and when I got to the house, I went straight to my son's room to cater for my son, and he was downstairs with his workers, his cousin Darisha, and they were downstairs gisting. Question, he was very active? Wunmi, yes. Question, at what point did you realize that he needed a pain reliever? Wunmi, Monday afternoon. Question, prior to that time, was he still active? Wunmi, he was still active. He still came to the room and he was still trying to touch me and all that, and he was the one that showed me his hand. Question, what was the extent of the bleeding? Wunmi, the bleeding was not much. Even when he slept on the bed, it was a stain on the blood that was on the white bed sheet. Question, you mean the same blood he carried from the shoe was what stained the bed? Wunmi, yes. Question, is it just the bed sheet that was stained? No other thing? Wunmi, just the bed sheet. Question, what clothes was he wearing? Wunmi, he didn't wear clothes when he came in. When he was coming inside, he pulled it at the parlor. He came in with just his trousers. Question, what clothes did he wear to the show? Wunmi, white and black. Question, short or long sleeve? Wunmi, short sleeve. Question, was the shirt rumpled? Wunmi, it was rough. Question, but it was not stained with blood. Wunmi, I did not notice. Question, who was Prime Boy to him? What is the relationship? Wunmi, they were friends. I knew my boyfriend when I was 14. I sing, I used to be a rapper, same as my husband, and I had to stop because the whole focus was shifted on him. And Prime Boy was also a singer, and I have known him roughly like 8 years now, and I knew them together as friends. Question, so it is correct to say that you've been in a relationship with your husband? Wunmi, we've been friends. I got to know him when I was in GSS 3. I got to know him through a friend called Steven. My classmates and I had started rapping, and he was also a rapper, and Steven introduced me to him, and we got connected as friends. He will come to my house and we'll talk, and sometimes we go to studio together and freestyle together, and the relationship started. Question, that means you have known Mohbad for a very long time now. Question, what clothes? Okay, this is a repetition. Wunmi, since 10 years now. Question, that Malian records? Wunmi, I don't understand, sir. Question, do you know his history? Wunmi, Mohbad started officially around 2018 when he vibed to Who Dey, challenged by Indiscernible, a social media influencer, and he came first position, and he was staying with his cousin Darusha. He had left home then. Let me check it again. Mohbad started officially around 2018 when he vibed to Who Dey, challenged by Indiscernible, a social media influencer, and he came first position, and he was staying with his cousin Darusha. He had left home then. When he got back to school, he stopped going to the house. He stopped going to the house around 2016 or so. He got admission into school in 2015, and he didn't finish due to money. So he went back to face his music, and he started officially in 2018 when he won Who Dey Challenge, and he was staying with his mom's brother, Darusha, as he could. And at who left and relocated somewhere else. And it was just myself and my husband. He was my boyfriend then, and we usually go to everywhere together. And in 2019, he released a song called Wunmi. And then he started coming to limelight, and people started getting to know him. But he was always sporting everywhere. He did not have a stable place. And if we wanted to meet, we will meet in a hotel, an open space. The music kept on going, and there is someone called Maisi, and he was a Yahoo boy there. So he reached out to him for featuring, and he did a song with him. But it was just me and him that was everywhere. He did not have any friend, and he stopped talking to his friends from the hood, and it was just myself and him. We were going through the music process together. Question, do you have a relationship with Malian Records? Wunmi, I did not know anybody called Naira Marley until he got arrested by EFCC then. I did not know him at all. Question, did you know Sheyi Awunuga? Wunmi, I knew Sheyi Awunuga through somebody called Ajay, or Ajay, I don't know. We did not meet physically, and I also knew him through Mohbad because when Mohbad went to a show in Ibadan, he met Sheyi Awunuga and reached out to him that she wanted to promote him, and that was before he got signed into Malian Music. Now his friend came into the picture around May 2019, and I was in school, shuffling everything, and when Anyan came, I was relieved that I could focus on my studies, and Anyan was always going with him. And people started getting to know him little by little, and he started going to shows of 100,000 naira, 50,000 naira, 70,000 naira, and things were going, and Maisi came back to the island around August 2019 again, and he stayed and didn't go again. And Ayan was officially his manager. And around 2019 November, he had a show at Dubai. Before then, Naira Marley reached out to him on Instagram, and I told him to let him feature him. And Naira Marley was trending in. And when he got to Naira Marley, he said he wanted to sign him. And I told him as his girlfriend then not to do that, that he was a boss on his own already and should not be under anybody. And we insisted he was not going to sign. And he went to Dubai for a show, and on the 30th, he called me that he's ready to sign, and I should not be angry. And I said I should not question him, that he has his reasons, and he knows that if he should get signed to Naira Marley, many opportunities will come, and he was not with me. If he was with me, I would convince him not to do that. Question, do you have a personal issue on ground against Naira Marley? Wunmi, no, I did not just want him to sign. Question, from the get-go, why did you not want him to sign to Naira Marley? Wunmi, I felt he would be limited, and there is a difference between being a boss and being a worker. He had people already, and he had a manager, and I felt with time he would get there. I believed in his talent so much, and I'm his biggest fan and critic. Question, from the day you have given, you had a long-standing relationship with your husband, and you were very close. Wunmi, very close. Question, at what point in time the nurse came in and realized he sustained an injury, and you asked him, are you not going to the hospital? Wunmi, and he said no. Question, why did you talk about the hospital? Wunmi, that was the next day when I saw that the wound was swollen. Question: when you saw that he did not go to the hospital, why did you leave the issue of treatment to other persons and not take it up as his wife? Wunmi, there was a particular nurse that treats him, but she was not around that day. And I know my husband. Ever since the harassment and bullying started, and the rebel was always tell people he's mad and has mental issues. After the October 5th issue that they assaulted him, there was a man that wanted to help him. His name was Mr. Efe. The labor record reached out to him to tell him that he's in the psychiatric hospital and that he's mad. He wanted to help my husband with advance to drop a new song. And the man called the manager to report. People that were supposed to help him were not helping him. A lot of artists that were supposed to be in contact with him get scared so that people will not feel they are working for the opposite side. Aside from Olamide, Belashmoda, and a few other artists, a lot of artists don't know and they do not reply to his message. And he was reached out to countless artists for featuring. They do not answer him just because he has issues with his label manager. This thing is a mental health. Whenever somebody fucks with your mental health, you will have trust issues. He doesn't trust the system. He feels the system will fail him. A week before having my baby, to go to the hospital to put a call through to my mom that I must not. He put a call through to my mom that I must not have my baby in the hospital, that he feels they might harm our son, and he feels his oppressors might pay anybody, and I give birth to my baby at all these traditional herbs, allowed Bono, because of the fear he will not let me go to the hospital. Question: at the point in time, Spenny decided to go to another nurse. Why did you leave it to Bami? Wunmi, I did not have any reason. Bami was close to him. Question: at the expense of your husband's health, Bami has come to give his witness account. At what point did the nurse come in? What was your late husband doing when the nurse came around? Wunmi, he was in our son's room pressing his phone when the nurse came in. Question: he had been there for how long? Wunmi, we slept together in that room. Question: and he did not come out at all? Wunmi, he did not come outside. Question: was he sleeping? Wunmi, he was just pressing his phone. Question: so when the nurse came, he was much aware. Wunmi, he was fine. We had in mind of getting outfits for our son's 5th month birthday because he had the mindset of taking pictures with him later. And he said after the injection, we will go there to get the stuff for our son. Question: at what point did he react to the injection? And what was the reaction? From the story you recounted, you said after he was injected, he needed to go to the bathroom. He went to the bathroom himself. Wunmi, yes, he went to the bathroom himself. Question: and he was conscious after the injection? Wunmi, yes. Question: so he walked into the bathroom himself? Wunmi, no. He started reacting to it immediately. He told the nurse to remove it, that he was not feeling, that he was feeling somehow. Question: at what point did you raise an alarm? Wunmi, after leaving the restroom, he walked himself, and when I saw that he sat down on the floor, which is unusual, I had to put a call to some people. Question: when the nurse came, he was in your son's room? Wunmi, yes. Question: you all moved to your matrimonial room? Wunmi, yes. My son's room is very small. Myself, Bami, and my husband. Question: at what point did Bami leave the scene? Wunmi, there was water in his room, so Bami went downstairs to get a mop to clean it. And he went outside. After, we told the nurse he was an ulcer patient. Bami left the scene. I was in the room. Question: you were the only one left with the nurse and your husband? Wunmi, yes. Question: how long did it take before you raised an alarm and Bami came back? Wunmi, it was immediately I saw him sitting on the floor. Question: at what point in time? Wunmi, I cannot recollect. After the Bami went downstairs, the nurse injected him here. She demonstrated. Then I went downstairs to check on the food I was cooking. Question: you left immediately after the nurse injected him? Wunmi, yes, I was cooking. Question: but you said you were there. Wunmi, I was not present. I was coming and going. Immediately I opened the door for the next injection. That was when I heard him telling the nurse that she should remove it. Question. That is all. Respectfully, I want to allow my colleague to ask some questions. The court, he should have passed the questions to you. Mr. Nowola, when he was injected, before he vomited, did he eat anything? Wunmi, yes, he ate noodles. Question, what food were you cooking? Wunmi, I was cooking fried rice for our baby. It was a celebration that was the day my baby clocked 5 months. Question, after the fight, where did you leave Prime Boy? Wunmi, we left him at the scene. Question, my lord, that will be all for now. Mrs. Delechi Asagba, respectfully, my lord, I'll be calling on my colleague to take the cross-examination in the matter, OSA Aramolaram. But before then, my lord, I would like to lay a foundation here. Wunmi, I really empathize with you. Accept our condolences, and I pray that the Almighty will be with you and strengthen you. I also like to say that the corona case, you have already stated that you want justice for your husband, and we are interested parties, NBA, and we are here to ensure that justice is done. It is not a trial, it is a coronary inquiry into a death that is suspicious, sudden, violent, or it is not normal. And we have come in as interested parties in this matter, and this is why you see many of us here. We want to find out who died, when he died, where he died, and how did he die. We want to also see how we can prevent such. This is a fact-finding mission. Anything you have to say, please, anything you have to say, feel free to say it. Cross-examination by OSC Aramularam. Question. Mrs. Aloba, just as my late National Vice President has advised you, please stay focused on the purpose of this inquiry. Cast your mind out of what is happening on social media. You are one of the persons that can give the court the eye to what happened and what led to his death, because you are his wife. Please calm yourself down. You know your husband very well. Will I be correct to say that even when he coughs, you can easily tell where the cough is coming from? Wunmi, yes. Question. If we are coming from the pains he was going through from the injury he sustained, at what point did you think the mere injury you mentioned, what came to your mind to think that this little injury you needed to go to the hospital? Wunmi, because of the state I saw it on Monday afternoon, it was swollen unlike how we slept with it on Monday morning. It was just a normal cut, but when we woke up on Monday, it was swollen, and I felt it needed a medical attention. Question. You have said it was a mere injury. When you were trying to describe how big the hand was, you said it was small. What gave you the mind to think that this small cut, the next call should be the hospital? Wunmi, because the day he had the injury, it was just a normal cut. But when he woke up the next day, it was not the same way I left it. There was a little swelling around the injured part, and that was when I felt this needed medical attention. I wasn't expecting it to be swollen because it was just a cut. Question. There was a time in February, and from the account you gave before the court, you mentioned he was hit in the head by the officer of the NDLEA, and he was beaten and he sustained injury. Wunmi, yes. Question. You will agree with me that the injury he sustained at the NDLEA scenario was more severe compared to the one at the show. Will I be correct to say that the severity of the pain of the injury, which one was more severe? Wunmi, it was the NDLEA. Question. But at that NDLEA, you said because of the fear of what he had been going through, he did not go to the hospital. Wunmi, he went to the hospital. Question, was he taken by operatives? Wunmi, he instructed myself and I think his brother to take him to the hospital. Question, and you took him to the hospital? Wunmi, yes. Question, how close was the hospital to your house? Wunmi, it was 20 minutes drive at night. Question, the events of the show, aftermath of the show, why did you take him to 20 minutes hospital that you chose to take him through that length of period by which he couldn't sustain before we lost him? Wunmi, my husband will not go. Question. At that point in time, he wasn't in control of himself. He cannot give you directives again. Wunmi? No. He gave me reasons not to go. Question. Get my question. You took him by his directive to the 20 minutes drive hospital when he sustained a very severe injury, and that hospital was still functional by the time he sustained the second injury. At that point in time, when he was already going through an uncomfortable circumstance, which was already out of hand, why didn't you and some of your family members take him to that hospital? Wunmi, I didn't know he had injury until he came to the room. Question. No, you're not getting my point. The nurse had treated him. He had gone to the bathroom. Wunmi, that was on Tuesday, like an hour before he died. Question. I'm now saying at that point in time, when you were taking him to the hospital where he was declared dead, you had the 20 minutes drive hospital. Why didn't you take him? Wunmi, there was traffic, sir. I had to come down and take a bike. Question. Was it the same hospital you were taking him to? Wunmi, no. We took him to the nearest hospital. Question. Nearer than the 20 minutes drive? Wunmi, yes. This particular one I'm talking about, after getting outside, there was still traffic. From where we dropped down from the car to the hospital was like 3 minutes. But before getting to the hospital, there was traffic, and this was why I said 20 minutes. Question. You were with him throughout the night on Monday? Wunmi, yes, we were together. Question. To the extent that you said you were together till 3 a.m., Wunmi, 3:40 a.m. Question. When you were tired and you were going to sleep, Wunmi, yes. True. Question. Throughout that period, was there anything he was complaining about? Wunmi, it was at night he complained. Question. What time? Wunmi, around 9 p.m. and that was when he took the Panadol, and we have just been talking and gisting till that's 3:40 a.m. and I was the one that told him I wanted to sleep and I was tired of the conversation. Question. The Panadol extra in question, where did you get it? Wunmi, he instructed Bami to get him Panadol. Question. At what place? Wunmi, I don't know. I think pharmacy around the estate. Question. Did you bother to check if it was still within the expiration date? Wunmi, after he was buried, I went back home and took the Panadol. Question. After the Panadol, did he complain of pains again? Wunmi, no, we were gisting all through the night. Question. When Spenny gave you that number, did you call her by yourself? Wunmi, he never gave me the number. He gave it to Bami. I told my husband when I saw the hand was swollen that we should go to hospital, but he said a nurse was coming. He had reached out to spend. Question. You said he had a lot of enemies, and there were some that were pretending to be friends but were enemies. Was there any time you suspected that spending may be among the so-called people you alleged were enemies? Wunmi, no. Question. You so trust him that you cannot think whether he would have any suspicious moves against your husband? Wunmi, I think so to an extent. I trust him because ever since the whole thing happened, he unfollowed all my husband's oppressors. And whenever he comes to the house and my husband talks about the bullying, the only advice he will just give us is to report to the police station. I have heard both of them talk about his oppressors. Question. Just about the exact time the nurse came in, what was the condition of your husband? Wunmi, he was fine and even told me a few minutes before that he was supposedly has taken his injections. He will go to nearest store to get his son. Question, but he was in good condition. Why did you need at that point in time to call him a nurse? Wunmi, he was still feeling pains. Question, he just needed the wound to be treated. Wunmi, he was still feeling pains, but not to the point that he could not talk or do daily activities. Question, he could do any activity. Wunmi, he could do any activity, but he was still feeling that pain. Question, when the nurse came, did you tell her exactly what was going on? Wunmi, yes, I explained to the nurse. Question, now before she started administering her drugs, did you take time to say, what do you want to give him? Wunmi, my son Aditide told her he's an ulcer patient and she should be mindful of whatever she gives him. Question: since your husband was in good health, did he himself make inquiries from the nurse? You have said he was very active. He just allowed her to start the examination. Wunmi, yes. Question: aside from that event or that treatment, you know you have been his friend according to your account before the court. Was there any other time that a nurse came to treat him? Wunmi, yes. So nurses have been coming to treat him. Wunmi, no. He had one that he had been treating him since last year or so. She was not around that day. Question: so every time the nurse comes to treat him, she will just apply everything and go without him or you asking, what are you going to give me? Wunmi, he only complains. Question: there was no time he ever asked any nurse. They just come, treat him and go. Will I be correct to say that was what happened? Wunmi, ever since the trust issue. Question: get my question. You said nurses have been coming and treat him. Wunmi, just one particular nurse. Question: but she has been coming more than once. Wunmi, yes. Question: I'm talking of your long-term relationship. Question: no, those periods, he was always going to the hospital. It was when the issue started that he didn't trust the system. Question: and the nurse was coming to take care of him. Wunmi, yes. Question: and I asked, all the time that the nurse was coming to treat him, is it that he doesn't care what they apply on him? Come, apply it and go. Wunmi, he always complains of whatever is wrong with him. Question: I'm not saying that when the nurse that actually comes, not the one of the 12, each time she comes to take care of him, she applies anything without Mohbad asking, what do you want to give me? Wunmi, yes. But this very nurse, he didn't ask. Wunmi, we have already explained to the nurse. Question: you only explained? Wunmi, yes. Question: you did not ask, give me the name of what you are about to give me and what will it do to me? You didn't ask of that? Wunmi, we did not ask, but I'm trying to remember now. When the nurse administered the injection, I asked and she said it was tetanus injection. So that was when I left the scene to check what I was cooking. When I came back again, I saw her trying to pull out syringe, but I didn't know anything. The food was almost done. So I was just shuffling and it was the third time I was coming inside. I saw the nurse passing something through his vein and the nurse should remove it. He was feeling somehow. I was not fully present. Question: so you couldn't tell the court how long the syringe stayed? Wunmi, yes. Question: you were not sure whether she was going to pass through? Wunmi, I was not too sure. Question: but in your presence, she attempted to pass syringe through here. Wunmi, yes, I saw it. Question: before she made attempt to pass it, did she make attempt to look for vein or she was just interested in wrist and the arm? Wunmi, she knows better. But I asked her when she wanted to administer it on his hand and she said it was tetanus injection. I didn't really ask her so many questions. Question: so you couldn't assertively tell the court that she knows better because you did not make inquiry about her qualification? Wunmi, yes. Question: so you could not have said before the court that she knew what to do, but you did not ask further questions? Wunmi, yes. Question: you just allowed her to do all she needed to do and she left? Wunmi, yes. Question: now, how many minutes interval between the giving of the two injections, given on the shoulder and one on the wrist? How many minutes before your husband started to it? Wunmi, I do not know. Question: madam, you were cooking and you still had interest in what was happening with your husband? Wunmi, yes. Question: between that time of going to the kitchen and coming back, you met him telling the nurse to remove the syringe from my wrist? Wunmi, yes. Question: she did? Wunmi, yes. Question: and immediately after she moved it, your husband strolled to the restroom to ease himself, and while easing himself, he was vomiting. What was the color of the urine? Wunmi, normal urine. Question: what did you see in his vomit? Wunmi, the noodles he had eaten earlier. Question, how long had he eaten the noodles before the application of the injection? Wunmi, I think it was an hour after. Question, when you saw things were getting out of hand, you started looking for a vehicle. Wunmi, yes, because the vehicle was faulty. Question, who mustered the idea of going to the hospital at that point in time? You have both agreed that I will not go to the hospital, and the nurse had gone to treat him. The nurse and the DJ had gone to get more medications to apply on him, and you were looking for a vehicle to convey him. Wunmi, myself. Question, at what point in time he was still active? At that point in time, he was still active that he could respond or say whether no or yes. Question, Wunmi, immediately I saw the reaction, I went downstairs looking for a way out. Question, so you didn't even mention to him, you went downstairs looking for a vehicle to rescue him and take him to the hospital? Wunmi, yes. Question, now you mentioned while you were giving your account before the court that while he was being conveyed to the hospital, he was at the back with his loved ones and you sat directly beside the nurse? Wunmi, yes, at the front seat. Question, were you not engaging in discussion on what is going on? What are we to expect? Wunmi, I was just shouting for help. At that period, I didn't know what I was saying. Question, would it be correct to say that you did not even share any thoughts? Whether what was applied on his body was the cause of what is going on around him at the moment. You did not even think about that. Wunmi, I didn't remember to talk to anybody. Question, he said she should remove the syringe and she did that. He went to the toilet to use himself and the situation became out of hand. Wunmi, yes. Now at that point in time, what came to your mind? You sat beside the nurse. Did you make out any questions? What did you give my husband? What is going on? My husband is reacting. Did you ask that before getting to the hospital? Wunmi, I did not ask because the nurse herself was calling people and telling them to pray. She was on call till we got to the hospital. I was just on my own with my baby trying to look for the nearest hospital. The court. What he said, all this has happened, the injections, everything she used. What step did you take since your husband's death? Did you make your personal findings? Did you allow her to take all those things with her? Wunmi, she did not. The court, where are they? Wunmi, they were inside my husband's room and the door was locked. The court, any further investigation? Wunmi, yes, the police came to the house with a medical doctor to pack those items. The court. So the injection and everything she used at that moment, where are they? Wunmi, I think the Nigerian police. The court, you think? Wunmi, yes, it should be with them because it was the doctor that came to pack them with the Nigerian police that day. It is either one of them, they came together that day. The court, and you did not find out whether it is actually with the Nigerian police. Wunmi, I did. It was the same officers we go to meet at Panti because I have gone to Panti countless times. The court, very well. OSA Aramalaram, question. Now, when you got to the first hospital, what was the connection or relationship established between the hospital and the nurse that followed you? Wunmi, the nurse was also with the question. Did they engage in conversation? Did they ask questions? Made inquiries? Wunmi, sir, they did not allow me to enter the ward, but the nurse was with the doctor in the ward. With the way I was acting, they asked me to stay back. Question, when you stayed back, who followed the body of Mohbad? Wunmi, the nurse, Bami, and his brother Adura. Question, they went in with the body and the doctor at emergency. Wunmi, yes. Did they whether for 1 minute or half a minute still attempted to rescue him? Wunmi, I do not know. I was outside. They didn't allow me inside. Question, like how many minutes did they come back to tell you he was dead? Wunmi, I think 15 minutes later. Question, that means he was not dead as at the time you brought him to the hospital? Wunmi, sir, I do not know. The only thing I heard from the people driving us is that his hand was getting cold. Question, When you got to the hospital gate, you brought him down from the vehicle, Wunmi, from the Okada. Question, motorbike, Wunmi, yes. Question, did they still accept him? Wunmi, yes. They didn't tell you at the point of entry that you brought him dead? Wunmi, no. Question, they still took him to the emergency before they said he was dead? Wunmi, yes. Question, whether on that day or thereafter, did you make any attempt to go to that hospital to make a request for the medical cause of death because they were the last to lay their hands on him? Wunmi, sir, ever since my husband had died, things have not been stable for me. Question, did you make efforts to send someone? Wunmi, I did not. Question, you took him from that place, they declared him dead, to another hospital? Wunmi, yes. Question, what was the reason for taking him to another hospital? Wunmi, because I never believed he was dead. Question, when you got to the gate of the second hospital, what happened? Did they still take him to their ward? Wunmi, they didn't take him to their ward. There is one space at the reception and there was a bed there, but I was outside, still holding my baby. I just saw his cousin fall on the floor, Darusha, crying. So I knew it had really happened. Question. Now let's put a connection between the February 2022 event and the 10th September event. If you look at what your husband went through, you know you said he had died before he finally died. Wunmi, yes. Question. Now that means if you want the court to believe that's your statement, that means he had been dying. Wunmi, he had been overthinking. Question, wait, don't put Yoruba or African sentiment into what we are doing. You said he had been dying long before he finally died. Wunmi, yes. Question, if you want the court to believe that, that means something must have been in his system that had been killing him gradually. Wunmi, no, that was not what I meant. Question, but that was what you mentioned to the court. Wunmi, I meant he had not been active. Question, you have to be clear to the court. If you are saying he had died, it means he had something in his body system that had been killing him before the last event that killed him. Wunmi, that was not what I meant. Question, so what did you mean? Wunmi, I believe if his brain had not been fucked up, if he had not been having trust issues, if the system had not failed him, just because his oppressors had connections everywhere, and because of what had been happening, how the oppressors made the public feel he was a drug addict, I feel he would have gone to the hospital. Question. I would be correct to say that when you mentioned that he had been dying long before he died, you are only talking about psychological trauma he went through and not the medical cause of his death. Will that be correct, Wunmi? Yes. Question. When you said he had been dying long before he finally died, am I correct to say that you meant that he went through psychological trauma and that has nothing to do with medical cause of his death? Well, will that be correct, Wunmi? Yes. Question. That means if you want the court to believe all that you have been saying, the issue of bullying, the arrest of NDLA may not have had immediate connection with the events that culminated into his death on the 12th of September 2023 medically. I know you had said psychological trauma, but medically, Wunmi, sir, I do not know. He said they gave him stuff to take. Question. You are going to tell the court what you want the court to look into. I am saying what led to his final death was medically. A medical cause, not psychological trauma. Wunmi, yes. Question. If that is the case, the events of February 2022 can only have linked to what happened between September 12th in psychological trauma alone and has no medical effects. Wunmi, yes. Question. We have established that you mentioned to the court that you sat in between Prime Boy and your husband all through the period. The car was parked in a secured environment and not in the middle of the mob. Wunmi, it was in the middle. It was surrounded by a whole lot of people. Question. Those lot of people that came to watch him play were equally there. They were the ones requesting money from him. Wunmi, yes. Question. At what point in time he was tired of there of they being around, and what he had in mind was to leave that scene because he did not want to have connection with them at that point in time. Wunmi, yes. Question. What happened by the time he left the car and moved around the vehicle and moved to the other side in the middle of the mob? You have established the mob surrounded his vehicle. Wunmi, yes. Question. Now, he felt where he was sitting. He left where he was sitting and walked through that same mob and went to the other side of the vehicle to go and fight his friend. Would that be correct? Wunmi, yes. Question. He moved around, question, but he was tired of seeing them. Wunmi, he moved around them. He opened the door angrily and was angry while he was stepping out of the car. So they could not even touch him. The people would want to know where he was going to and who he was going to attack, but nobody touched him when he was moving because he was angry when he stepped out of the car. Question, and those people who were going to collect money from him still did not hold him down? Wunmi, no. Question, you have said there was a lot of people moving around asking for money. So those mobs were still very much around the vehicle, and he left around them. Who was paving way for him? Wunmi, nobody was doing that. Question, and they did not at any point in time ask for money. Wunmi, some people were still talking. It was crowded. It was a show. Some were still talking at the back. But he had a mission. He wants to go and meet somebody, and he was not answering anybody. And immediately I saw him, and he was angry with the way his friend was talking to him. Question. Then he went to the other side. Wunmi, yes. Question. At what point in time his friend was still sitting in the vehicle? Wunmi, yes. Question. And sat in the vehicle throughout? Wunmi, yes. Question. Throughout the period of their fight, there was no time he stepped out of the vehicle. Wunmi, yes, it was after he stepped out. Question. I know that you were sitting in the vehicle beside his friend, as at the time he left through the other side, you left to call Wunmi, the people inside the other crowd. Question. For all the period you three were in the vehicle, none of the security aid was around. Wunmi, we did not go with security. We only went with his workers and his friends. Question. But you mentioned bodyguard the other time. Wunmi, the event bouncer, not his personal bouncer. Question. Those event bouncers, were they not very much close to you when you were in the vehicle? Wunmi, no, they were not close to us. We only went to call them. Wunmi, who went to call them? Question. Who went to call them? Wunmi. My husband asked one of the people standing to help him call the bouncer, and when the bouncer came, he said he wanted to go, but the bouncer said he should wait till other artists finish performing. Question. At what point in time when a feast at that point in time when a feast off ensued between him and his friend, where were they? Wunmi, they were not there. They were trying to control everybody. Question. But when they saw him stepping out of the vehicle, Wunmi, I don't think they saw him. People were there normally before the thing happened, and the bouncer could not stop them because they were much and could not stop them from coming close to him. And when the fight happened, I don't think the bouncers could have suspected that such a thing happened. Question. Aside from the fact that this friend got him angry because of the way Mohbad's brother reacted to him, aside from that event, what happened again that made your husband hit the screen of the vehicle to the extent that he sustained that injury? Wunmi, it was during the fight. Question. You have said the door was closed throughout. Wunmi, no. I said he opened it. I think he opened it. Question. Don't think. Wunmi, immediately he stepped out, I went to his people in the other Prado, so I didn't really know. That was why I said I think. It was the narration I heard after the whole incident I'm using to judge. Question. You did not see them fight. It was what you were told when you got back. Wunmi, yes. Question. As at the time you came back, they had been separated. Wunmi, yes. Question. And it was when you were going home, you noticed the screen got broken. Wunmi, yes. Question. So you cannot describe to the court the level of the heat on the car. You couldn't have established how heavy it was. Wunmi, no, I wasn't there. Question. Aside from this event, has your husband attended any other show that this kind of scenario happened? Wunmi, no. Question. And there was no time he fought anybody in his lifetime. Wunmi, no. Question, to the extent of exchanging blows. Wunmi, himself and Prime Boy are always having disagreements, friendship fights, sometimes exchanging. Question, hot words? Yes. Wunmi, yes. Question, and physical? Wunmi, yes. Question, to the extent that they exchange blows as if they are playing or dangerous. Wunmi, they play a lot. Sometimes they get serious and sometimes they get physical. Question, as the person you mentioned to the court as the closest person to you, particularly at the time you had established a family, do you agree you're the closest person to him? Wunmi, yes, I am. Question, as the closest person to him, you may not have another opportunity to assist this court to arrive at a conclusion. Now, if I may ask you to draw a conclusion on what you think is the cause of the death of your husband, would you like to say something to the court about that? Like, this is what I suspect as the cause of death of my husband. As a conclusion, is there any way you could say that to the court? Mr. Oyaginde, my lord will be objecting. The conclusion should be from my lord, the court. I think the question is that from her perspective and from everything that is happening, can she conclude that it is the injection or what? Mr. Oyaginde, my lord, with due respect, sir, we are still expecting the postmortem examination. So whatever she says, the court. It doesn't matter. The question is not a conclusive one. Take, for instance, somebody asks that you gave your husband paracetamol. What led to you giving him paracetamol? It is the same vein you ask the question that looking at all this before the court, is it the medical, the injection, or the trauma? From your own mind, what is the cause? Some people will say that, do you suspect anybody from the police station? I think this is where this question is going. Wunmi, sir, I do not know. That is why we seek out for an autopsy. The court. She has answered the question. She says she does not know, and that is why she's here. NBA, my lord, that is all. Cross-examination by Mrs. Abiodun Kolawole. Oh. Hold on. Let me just take a walk. I've read 100 pages. Okay, let's go. Cross-examination by Mrs. Abiodun Kolawole. Question. I express my deepest condolence to you. People have asked several questions I intend to ask from the testimony you narrated before this court and from your written deposition. What did you study while in school? Wunmi, English. Question. If I may ask you, you've been using words that repeats itself in your written deposition and your testimony. What does the word oppressor connote to you grammatically? Wunmi, I feel oppressor means people that have more influence than you. Question. Good. The court. What is the answer? Oppressor means, Wunmi, being cheated by people that have more influence. Question. How? Wunmi, I don't know. Question. Who are these your husband's oppressors? Wunmi, his oppressors are the same people that drove him into depression. Question, do you know them? Wunmi, yes, I do. Question, can you please name them to this court? Wunmi, the label boss and his cohorts. Question, who is the person behind this label boss? And if you know their names, name names. Wunmi, Naramali, C Black, Myci. Question, who is this C Black? Wunmi, Naramali Saini. Question, who is Myci? Wunmi, he used to be my husband's friend. Question, do you know his real name? Wunmi, his name is Michael. Sid and I don't know Sid's name, Sunday Sheyi, and there's a guy called West. Question, like a person who so much loved her husband, can you recall or remember any event where your husband was ever bullied, waylaid, attacked, or harassed in view of your definition of oppression? October 5th, 2022, he had issues with his label manager, Sunday, who happens to be Naramali's cousin. He wanted to use Ayan, who was his manager before he got signed as his manager, but the labor boss said he doesn't want it, that he would be the one to appoint a manager for him himself, and he has to let go of Ayan, the same person who had been managing him before he got signed to the label. Question: I'm asking you, you said oppressor. Can you please cast your mind back to an event or an action and act done to your husband that have made you to come to the conclusion that these are my oppressors? Wunmi, ever since Naramali appointed Tunde to be his manager, it had not been easy. Most of the work that Tunde was to do, I was the one doing it. For instance, if he needs stylist for his wares, he would always reach out to me. I was in school and I was always shuffling it others. And at some point, he got tired and he complained to the labor boss that the manager only goes to shows with him and does not do his work, and that he wants to change his manager, and he complained that he is not being promoted enough, and he said he wants to start promoting, and the label assured that the next single, which was Peace, will be promoted, and when he dropped the song, it was not promoted. He was worried, and he will come to me, and I cannot do anything, and because my husband has low self-esteem, no matter how he's hurting, he'll say he's fine, and he's not fine. And I told him to reach out to the label boss himself, and he reached out to the label boss, and he said next time they'll promote the song. And when he dropped the song, we expected them to promote him as promised, but nothing was done. And he had a group chat from himself, his label boss, and the manager. So they were talking in the group chat, and something led to an argument between my husband and the manager, and he said he doesn't want him again, and that he wants another person, and he's tired of the way he's managing him. And I was in a room with my husband's father because I was 3 months pregnant then, and he came to visit and say hi, and also when he went out. And I went to report to his dad upstairs that Promise was having an argument with Sunday. And I didn't want him to fight, that he should come and help me talk to him because he was in the studio. And while we were talking, I never knew they had gone. And I went back downstairs and I saw that my husband was not in the house again with 3 of his workers, Ore, Aji, and Damola. And I was worried. And I tried calling all of them and they were not picking their calls. And 20 minutes after, another friend called Abraham picked up my call and I heard noises and I knew something had happened. Question: during his lifetime, you and your husband, have you ever taken any step on what to do about his oppression, and what steps did you take? Wunmi: that was when they assaulted him in their house when he went to complain to the manager. Question: apart from he going to the manager outside the manager's house, what steps did you take? Wunmi: I was telling him that he was almost done with his time and he had 2 months left, and he should just wait so that they can hand over his royalties and catalog to him. But he said he was tired and does not want to continue again. What if they kill him? And I accepted that truly. He sees better than I do, and he stopped associating with the Malians. And he had been on his own ever since. Question: I just want to take you to something that went viral. You know, there was a voice note, and I believe you know the voice of your husband, Wunmi. Yes. Question: a voice note that says, Wunmi, I warned you, don't use that code to rob my body again. Do you want to kill me? And he started curse you. Typo. Can you please tell this court what led to that utterance and what kind of court was it? Wunmi: after the NDLA attack, I said it to court that he forgot things easily. He was paranoid and in fear and even went as far as forgetting his phone's password. And I was the only person he was having fights with. And he said he does not seem to understand anything again. And everybody was saying he was mad. And he would come to me and ask me, am I mad? And I would tell him, no, you are not mad. The label even told him to travel out of the country for his treatment, that he has something. And he said he does not have anything on his head. Question: is that what led to that argument or utterances? Wunmi, that day I was in his house and something happened. He came to me. I left the house angrily, and at that period of time, my husband was not stable to the extent that he forgot his Instagram account password. He did not remember anything. His family knew, and his father had to take him to his sister's house at Songo. But he texted me that he did not understand the drugs they were giving to him. Is that what led to the utterance? Wunmi, the day this thing happened, he said something I was not cool with. And I left the house, and it was a day to my wedding, and because of the whole stress, I have been the one dealing with him. At some point, everybody left him. Question: what was the cloth that he alleged you used to rub his body? Wunmi, he alleged everybody of so many things at that period of time. I wasn't the only one. I did have voice notes myself, and the purpose for doing it is because he might wake up one day and say, Wunmi, something. He will end up apologizing to me, and when I say, babe, you said this and this when you were angry, he would not ever say it. Question. He also asked you a question. Wunmi, where is my other phone? Mr. Tiolawale, Your Honor, we are here for the circumstances that led to the death of Mohbad. So this taking us to whatever happened between them, we are not here for gist. We are here for serious issues. Mrs. Abiodun Kolawole, back to you again, Wunmi. Just calm down. Put sentiment aside. Please, what was that WhatsApp message? Why did you seize his phone and got the message deleted? Wunmi, I did not seize his phone. That was the phone I was using. What happened to my husband those periods? The same phone he was talking about was the phone I was using. He gave it to me, 11 Pro Max. The same phone he was complaining about. That was the same phone I was using. Those period of time, I understood him so well and that was the reason I did that recording to play it to him. The day I heard that voice note, I called his father, his mother, and said, Daddy, Mommy, I am tired. I thought I could cope. And his daddy went to my sister's place to apologize on his son's behalf, that I shouldn't leave him. And he came around that same day. I did that voice note, and we went back home. And I did that voice note from a friend's phone. And it was another friend that I stopped talking to that released that voice note a day after my husband died to defame me. Question. Please, during the course of your marriage from the day you say your traditional marriage till the last time of his life, did you ever have any close entangle with any other man except your husband? The court. Please, let's be careful. You are not allowed to go into her character. Wunmi, please, let me clear myself. Mrs. Abiodun Kolawole, my lord, I'm not embarrassing her. Please, let's sit down. Mr. Olawale, no, your owner wants to rule on that question. Mrs. Kolawole, Wunmi, please, you said your husband had a nurse. What is the name of that nurse that treats him often? Wunmi, her name is Nurse Fumi. Question, the same Fumi, the one that treated him? Wunmi, another Fumi. Question, I'll also take you back to the scene. You said during your testimony there was somebody called Spending that sat at the back of the Prado. Wunmi, yes. Question, you were sitting in the middle, Wunmi? Yes. Question, your husband and Prime Boy, please, how did it happen? You said the injury sustained was as a result of the fight in the Prado. How did your husband exchange? Wunmi, he came down from the car. Ms. Oyakine, she has said he came down from the vehicle and turned around to the other side. By Mrs. Kolawole now. From your exposure so far as a rapper and what you have known so far, please tell this court, when the record label signs you, what's this kind of relationship we should expect? Can you describe how the relationship should be to the court? Wunmi, I feel the relationship there should be love, and at the same time, it should be strictly business. Question, let me ask you, from that scene of the accident, you said the blood was not really gushing, just a drop. Wunmi, I didn't notice until he got to the room to meet me. Question, when he got to the room, was the blood still gushing? Wunmi, it wasn't. I already used my baby's cotton wool. Question, how did you have a bedsheet soaked with blood? Wunmi, the bedsheets? Nothing was soaked with blood, man. It was just the hand that he slept till the next day. His mother, or was it his brother, used the bedsheet to sleep for like a week after my husband died. It was not really gushing. It was just a normal stain. Question: who broke the news of this death in the car? Wunmi. I was not in the car with them. I was not in the car with them. Question: my lord, that will be all for her. The court. Any other question? Mrs. Ogusomi, Your Honor, I don't know if the court can allow me to ask a few questions. I'm grateful. Ms. Akinde, my lord, the same way you did not allow because he is also with the father's lawyer, we have already set the precedence. The court, counsel, I take any other questions. I just asked any other question. Mr. Oyakinde, my lord, he's still with the same counsel for the father. The court. The cross-examination is over now. Now I asked any other question. I can even ask the public for any question. There might be a single question that somebody can throw from the public that may help us solve this. This is because it is different from a regular court. Mrs. Oyakinde, I accept my lord, but in this instance, Mrs. Delichi Asagba, my lord, I laid down the foundation for this coroner inquest, and I said that my lord, in the judicial inquirer in this matter, as the coroner in charge, she can decide to ask anybody to say anything. She can allow and disallow. The coroner inquest does not go for appeal. So however my lady wants to handle this coroner, it's my lady. We have the court. Every question is important to the coroner. The court. This is a different scenario. This matter is a worldwide issue and it needs every support that can render to the coroner to decide on the cause of death. Please, any other question? Mr. Gosam, Mr. Loba, my condolences. In your written deposition before this court that you swore to on the 25th day of October, in paragraph 3, you said on the 22nd day of February 2022, the deceased, his friend Michael, aka myself, and his friend and his girlfriend Dominica got a call from another of his friends. My question is this: Michael worked for the deceased. Wunmi, Michael did not have any position. He used to be his friend. Question: did Michael live with the deceased? Wunmi, he doesn't. Question: does he go out with the deceased for shows? Wunmi, sometimes, not regularly. Question: they were friends? Wunmi, they used to be. Question: please, can you tell this court at what point Michael and the deceased parted ways? Wunmi, it was after the NDLA issue. Question: is it this year? Wunmi, last year. Question: what did you discover on why the deceased and Michael parted ways? The deceased told me. That's it, Wunmi now. The deceased told me, his father and every member of the family, that he noticed that Michael is acting like an informant to Naira Marley and the rest. He even went as far as saying that there was a time he approached Michael about the way his promotion was going, and Michael advised him and told him to meet a lawyer to fight against the Malians for his royalties and everything, and he followed him to meet the lawyer. He said he noticed Michael was recording every of his conversation. One thing about my husband is he trusted Michael to some point. So when he got to the house, he narrated everything to me and said he saw Michael pressing his phone. And when he got there, he wasn't saying anything, probably because he did not want his voice to be in the conversation. And my husband still watched to know better. And after the NDLA period, he said Michael will tell him to go to Naira Marley. The Malians start talking even though he knew most things he's saying does not tally because of how he's feeling. He will tell him to go there and talk, and whenever they get there, Michael will not say anything. He will just be watching. I was close to Mysi too, and at some point, he thought I was working with Mysi for the Malian. And my husband stopped talking to me for a week because he thought we were all together. But when I went to his sister's place at Songwater, the mother, sister, everybody, we did a meeting, and my husband narrated how he had the feeling towards me, and he thought I and Michael were friends. And the mother said her son had said the same thing, that do I have anything in contact with Michael? And I said no. I only know him as my husband's friend and the father, and everybody said I should stop talking to Michael because he's an informant to the Malians, and I stopped, and even my husband stopped talking to him. Question: so you agree with me that because the deceased discovered that Michael was a mole that was planted in his house by the Malian, that was why they parted ways? Wunmi, yes. Question: in your written deposition, paragraph 3 and 4, you said the NDLA came to the house to arrest people. I want to ask you, was the deceased inside the house when the NDLA came? Because that question was already answered. This is it. That is it. Thank you. Wunmi, my lord. Wunmi now. My lord, I have some things to say. When my husband died, they did not tell me where they wanted to bury my husband. I never knew anything. They took me out of the box. The day they wanted to bury my husband, I begged them that we should take him to the morgue. But they rejected. They never answered me. I had to follow them to the mortuary without anybody telling me. And I tried talking to my father-in-law, but he just moved his hand and asked me to move out of his way. When they were taking him to the mortuary, I was not aware. They did not tell me anything. I had to follow them with a car. When we got to the mortuary, they left me. I had to move with my child and my sister to the house. The next morning, I never knew they wanted to bury my husband. They did not tell me. And how I got to know was when Baba's girlfriend, people used to call her the stepmother on the media. She's not the stepmother. The stepmother likes me so much. She's a girlfriend to Baba. They are not related. I got to know where they wanted to bury my husband through the statement that they made on TikTok. And that was where I got to know the land they buried my husband. The same day they buried my husband, they wanted to kidnap my baby just because of what this woman has said. They wanted to beat me. And they had to protect me till I got to where they wanted to bury my husband and pay him last respect. After that, this same woman was saying to people that they should hold me and not let me go. They should injure me, or they should either kill me or my baby. She's in the court presently acting like Baba's wife, but she is his girlfriend. This woman has been online defaming me and saying different things about me and making people feel I am bad. I never knew when they buried my husband. I know my father-in-law loves me so much, and I know everything he has been doing is because of this same woman. And she's presently here acting like the stepmother there. Like the stepmother, they are not related. The only issue I had with the woman is because I stopped her from coming to my husband's house, and my mother-in-law doesn't like her. Also, I've been getting threats. Death threats. The day Baba was talking on the media, area boys from Okiletu went to scatter my sister's place. My sister had to run away from the house. Ever since then, she has not been to Ikorodu. Whenever I want to go out, I am always on face mask. Just because of the defamation Baba has been carrying on the media, my life is at risk, and they are threatening me. I had to deactivate my Instagram. I'm getting death threats every day just because of the things I did not do. Baba himself knows my husband does not have money. When my husband left Malian music, Bella Shmurda fed us for 3 months. Bella Shmurda is my husband's best friend. October, November, December, Bella Shmurda gave us food to eat. Everybody knows he does not have money. My husband left the record label with 0 kobo, not even something as small as 100,000 naira. It was during the show he was getting this year that he started having money. Baba knows, and he told my husband that he should always give him 100,000 naira monthly, just because he knows the pocket of my husband. I was surprised when I saw this defamation on the media, but I cannot come online to talk because of my child. They are the only family Liam has. A lot of journalists are here doing TikTok, defaming me. I can see all of them, but the only reason I'm being quiet is because of my late husband. Doesn't like anything like noise, and Baba knows. I believe that woman is the one behind all these things because Baba loves me very much. The court, Miss Aloba, Wunmi, ma, they are threatening me. I've not been fine. I've not been producing breast milk ever since my husband died. I'm going through hell. I've left my husband's house just because I have to run for my life. How long do I have to keep acting this way? The court. Miss Aloba, you said your late husband does not like noise, and that is why you have been silent, and I believe you still maintain that, Wunmi. That is why I am pouring my mind to the courts. The courts. Be calm and allow justice take the due course. Wunmi, thank you, ma'am. The courts. Whatever has been said, you know the truth, and God knows the truth. I understand. Mr. David Fadley, my Lord, I am very sorry because I represent the father and I spoke to my learned friend. I have several things that I needed to ask, but because of the interest of each, I abandoned some questions. She kept on saying father-in-law loves her so much. Wunmi, Mr. David Fadley, The love will still continue. Please, I want to beg of you. I don't know if the court can permit me 2 questions. Can I go ahead? The court, yes. Mr. David Fadley, what was the significance of the cords you dropped on your husband's corpse? Wunmi, I didn't even know. My mom was in the States, and in Yoruba, they call something Asho Bora. They wanted to get me a Bible to put inside the grave, but they didn't see. They call this Asho Bora, that it means protection, to protect your loved ones in grave. And I used part of the clothes for myself. I did not really know. It was when Baba tackled me in court and she narrated that it was Asho Bora in Ijebu, because I am from Ijebu, to cover your loved ones. Question. So that was what you dropped, so it can cover you? Wunmi, to cover himself. Question. The last question your father-in-law said when he was invited that the son was dead, he went to Lekki where he stayed and he saw a cloth. The guy's clothes covered and soaked with blood, and that presupposes that there was a quarrel, and that is why he asked you that time that, are you sure that injury was minor? Your father-in-law said he saw these clothes and he engaged you in conversation. Wunmi, he never spoke to me that day. I tried talking to him, but he just jacked my hand. Question. But was it true that there was a cloth that was soaked in blood, full of blood? Wunmi, the only thing my father-in-law saw was the bed sheet, not his personal clothes. And it wasn't so, because even after he died, his younger brother used that bed sheet to sleep for a week. Question. It was soaked in blood. Wunmi, it was not soaked. It was a stain. I didn't know if he saw any clothes, because my husband was in the room with me. I did not see any clothes, and we slept on the same bed sheet with me, and it was a white bed sheet. And that was the same bed sheet on the balcony. The same thing Baba saw that day. So I do not know. Question. He said his corpse upon examination, there was a deep cut in his hand, not a minor cut. Wunmi, which hand? This same hand? Question. Yes, it was a very deep cut in his hand. Did you check the cuts? Did you see the cuts? Wunmi, there are proofs online of the same cut. I'm sure about 10 to 15 people would have seen it here. It wasn't deep. Question. Okay, thank you. The court. Any re-examination, Mr. T. Olawale, none, Your Honor. Wunmi, there's something I noticed. This same my see, I noticed sometime last week, and I don't know why I was not informed when they wanted to bury him. This same my see was on a call with this Baba's girlfriend, and I feel this same person that could do this thing with my husband. None of my husband's relatives should be in contact with him after my husband's demise. And I'm really curious. Why did she have to talk to the same person my husband complained about to the whole family? She was talking to the same person after my husband's death. What is their connection? I need to know. The court, thank you. You may step down. Okay, I'm almost through now. Mr. David Nowola, we made an application for witness summon, and we summoned Zlatan and Sheyi Awonoga, and we got a confirmation that they have sent them. Sheyi Awonoga is the manager. We have done the needful, and we have facilitated the summons we sent, and the bailiff confirmed them. The court, you should have done a follow-up to make sure they are present in court. They are your witnesses. Mr. David Nowola, my lord, we do not have a personal relationship with them. Mrs. Asagba, my lord, may we only apply for witness summons for the nurse in this matter, nurse for me. The court, I think the IPO with the state promised to bring the witnesses. There are some witnesses that they promised to bring to court, but because of the witness I have now, I can't ask them to produce them, and they won't be able to take any evidence. So the magistrates of the Lagos State Judiciary are going on our annual retreat. I'm supposed to travel tomorrow, and we'll take a date after that, and the vital ones from the police station. They have already said they will bring in some of the people that have in their custody, including the driver of the Prado. Falana, yes. Mr. T. Olawale, I have sent my colleagues to look for him, and I don't have his number at the court. You should have informed him that the court does not wait. Olawale, he was sitting here all alone. He's here. Adura and are comfortable in speaking Yoruba or English. For now, this is Adura now. For now, sir, I'm not comfortable. I'm really tired. I've been sitting here since like 3 hours and I'm not feeling well. Because did you not know you were coming here today? Adura, I knew what I was coming here to do because you are telling the court that you are tired without even stepping into the court, into the box. Adura, I'm not feeling well. Like 4 days now, I'm not feeling okay. The court, what is wrong with you? Adura, I don't even know. I have not eaten since morning and I have been sitting here for like 3 hours now. The court. So if you eat now, you will be fine in the next 30 minutes. Adura. Short date. The court. I do not want us to turn this case into a case we have to keep adjourning because this boy has to go back home to sleep. And if his family, his brother or his relation is saying he cannot, then I don't know what to do. He's there. He needs to go back home to rest. Don't allow all of us make a mockery of his death. Adura, ma, I'm very sick, ma. Because let's take a date. Or do you feel if we stand this matter down for about 30 minutes and you go and eat, you will be able to give any evidence? After 30 minutes, will you still go? You want to eat? Well, then here because we want justice for your brother, you should be able to take one or two questions, except you have something to hide. Adura, I have been here since morning. The court matter is further adjourned to the 15th of November 2023 at 12 noon for further inquest. This was signed by Miss C.A. Shutobi, the magistrate. It was signed by the Assistant Chief Admin Officer, Osemudiame V.O. It was also stamped by the Chief Magistrate Court on when was this? My cash office Ikorodu. So that is all I have for now. So that inquest happened. That inquest happened. That was the one that happened the first week of November. Thank you very much, analyst of Asia. Whoa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dawa. Host, if you are there, please help give Mr. Dawa a round of applause.
Enjoy.
He's speaking for over 3 hours now. Well,
You want some milk?
Dawa, you made us feel like we were dead. Yes. You made us feel like we were dead. Now, we're going over to...
All right, so that is all for now. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much for watching me. Love you all. Bye-bye.